Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. So there's a couple different things I want to go over today. I will say I have had some declining health concerns this week, and this week has been really, really tough. Missed 2 days out of what I'm normally a 6-day week for me. And so I apologize for having to skip 2 days, but with all the health stuff I have going on, all I can really say right now is that it's just not great. My health isn't great. And I needed time to be able to see the doctors and find out what's going on and see if I can work around it. Sitting in this chair doesn't exactly show you guys all of the health issues that I have, some pretty serious ones with my heart. And I was born, unfortunately, with kind of a bum liver. And then after COVID, inflammation in my whole entire body started flaring up just everywhere, causing havoc and wreaking havoc in my entire body, including in my heart. And so I got a lot of private health issues all over my body, and I try to keep you guys apprised of the fact that I have health issues without really going into what all of them are. But I will say that you guys always find a way to make me smile, even if I'm not live and even if I'm missing you guys. And I appreciate that about you. I appreciate that about my audience, that even when I'm not here, y'all don't forget that I exist. And you always find a way to bring a smile to my face, whether it's checking on me through Jesse or one of my other mods, or checking on me through email or DM or commenting, Twitter or whatever. I appreciate it. Or like Marsha, I was having a really rough day yesterday, and my husband went outside to bring the trash out because yesterday was a trash. Oh, hey, Claw. Thank you for being a member, of course. I appreciate you. You can say that again, Patricia. I'm not a fan of the hospital. If you know me, you know I'm not a fan of the hospital. I will refuse to go unless I am in feeling something really strange or in a really lot of pain that I can't explain. I get chest pains all over my chest from the part of my heart problem. It's only one of a couple, but I have myocarditis, so it's like inflammation of your heart wall. And so I get weird chest pains. Almost feels like you're having a heart attack. You would think it was a heart attack. And the first couple times it happened, I did think that it was something serious, obviously. And I've had the EKGs about 1,000,000 times. So they want to make sure anyway, even though they know what it is, they want to make sure. But my husband went to go take trash out yesterday, and he brings in an Amazon package, and I'm like, I didn't order anything, and I never do. So that's the thing. So I know when he's bringing something up from outside that I don't order anything. I really don't have the expendable money to do it. So I opened it up, and I'm like, oh, mystery. I like mysteries. What's a mystery? And I open it up, and of course, I get a beautiful note from Marsha, and I open it up, and it's something I've had on my wish list for a really long time that I've been eyeing. Had my husband help me put it together, even though it was only these brackets that really to put it together. But it is essentially a fruit basket, a two-tiered fruit basket, and you can put your bananas or whatever, hang your fruit on the opposite side. But my thought, along with the snack cart, was to have one of these as well, so that I can put things like the kids' fruit snacks and fruit by the foot, things that won't fall all over the cabinet and make a huge mess in this. And so it can be nicely put in there, and I don't have to have open boxes of snacks, making a mess, or the kids pulling them out of the packages and them just making a mess everywhere in the cabinet. They can very neatly go in this fruit basket. And so thank you, Marsha. I love it so much. It's pink, of course. And it is actually going to really help me. A lot of the stuff that I pick on my wish list is for organization purposes. It might not even be used for the purpose of what it actually is. This is supposed to be a fruit basket. Am I going to use it for fruit? Probably not, right? I'm going to use it for the snacks for the kids, along with the snack cart, because I have multiple children, right? And so they have to have juice boxes and water and snacks for school. So this is really going to help me out in the house with it being just organization. And for me, I can't bend a lot, bending up and down and up and down. I have really bad back problems and uh, leg like inflammation with my arthritis. I have psoriatic arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. So I have psoriasis too on my legs, and it hurts, to bend up and down, up and down, up and down, which is why I don't often take too many trips up and down the stairs because I live on the third floor unless I have to. But this really helps out. That's for sure. It is. It's brutal. It is. It's absolutely brutal. And I did go through chemotherapy with my daughter, not for cancer, but they used the chemotherapy for her really rare disease. And she went through all, it's the same drug. It's the same drug with the same side effects as a cancer patient, except you don't have cancer. So my daughter went through, using all those drugs and all the side effects, and it sucked. It was awful. My grandmother had congestive heart failure. And so I watched her go from someone who, and COPD, someone who was very like mobile into like slowly but surely over time, it getting worse and worse for her. So believe you me, I know all about it. And it sucks. Just having health issues in general sucks. Especially because mine are so like serious. A lot of them are serious to the point where if something happens, it happens quickly. And then I don't really have the capacity to be able to be like, oh, hey, sorry guys, like until after, you know what I mean? Until after I'm not here. And so usually if I'm like, hey, I'm going to be here and then I'm not here, that's probably one of the reasons why. The only other reason that it would be is I have a kid home from school or sick, or, my sister needs my help. As you guys know, my sister is about to have her MRI this Saturday before the brain surgery, which is a whole nother thing that we're dealing with. I don't have a lot of family left. My sister is one of very few, less than a handful, less than this many left alive in my family. And she just had a baby. So it's really scary for not just her, but me. I'm sure more scary for her. But she's got to have that MRI because she had the baby now. So now they want to do the MRI before they do the brain surgery. So that's, going to be scheduled now. My nephew's now a month old. He is doing great. He's cluster feeding, which is annoying because my sister's breastfeeding, but he is adorable and he's very alert when he has his little waking periods. He is just looking everywhere, and he likes to hold my finger. I let him hold my finger, and he just grasps with his cute little hands, and he just holds on to Auntie's finger. Although my niece, she's so stinking cute. Even my husband is like, oh my God, she reminds me of our little when she was that age, because we look a lot alike, me and my sister. And she's a little jealous that I was holding the baby. And so she crawls up on my lap and puts her head on my shoulder. And I'm like, I'll take both baby snuggles. That's totally fine with me. My kids are not baby age. They're, two of them are, I got a teenager and one who's over 18 and one that's in elementary school. So I have, my kids are spread out in age. But my niece is only 18 months. So she's getting a little bit of jealousy with her little brother. She's like, what's this noisy thing, man? Get this noisy thing away from here. You guys are supposed to pick me up and pay attention to me, not this noisy thing, right? My nephew is in kindergarten and he's autistic. And when my sister first brought the new baby home, he said something like, I don't want this anymore. I don't like this anymore. Basically, he thought, he could bring it back to the baby store. I feel like me or you are always on auntie duty. I love auntie duty, Yeah, I had my kids young. I was actually grateful for having my kids young. Actually, now that it makes me think about, me and my sisters there's big gaps in age. My sisters are only 3 years apart from each other, but I am 7 and 9 years apart from them. I'm older. I'm the oldest of that side of the family. And I have one older sister through my biological dad who doesn't live in the state and hasn't since I was probably a toddler. But I'm the oldest of the sisters I grew up in the house with. And so, they're my baby sisters. One of my sisters has what's called AP deletion. It's a missing tip of her chromosome. So she's 29, but she's got the brain of probably a preteen. So she's disabled. And then my middle sister, who is the one who just had a baby. And, I started getting a lot of my health problems at age 32, which is the age that my sister is now, and starting to see a lot of the same sort of health issues as I have, and different ones as well. So it just makes you think about whether it's genetic or not, and how much runs in your family and how much is just up to luck. Um, you have to think about it, like it doesn't it it makes you think about it, even if you tried not to, you know, even if you tried not to. I love being an auntie. My friends' kids all call me auntie because I've been around since before they were born. So I'm Auntie Elise to a lot of kids, and I absolutely adore all of them. And I was never someone who was going to have like a football team of kids. Three was probably my limit, and that's where I'm at. But uh, I adore each and every one of them. Mostly girls, funny enough. But I love being an auntie. I do. Never do this again. Never, ever, ever, never, ever do it again. So yesterday, Donna had court with Aiden virtually in New Jersey. And Mr. Betterow, of course, asked the judge to dismiss the case. Now, Donna had offered to dismiss the case if Aiden wants to take down his articles filled with, incitement, harassment, and defamation about her. She said to the prosecutor, I will dismiss it. I'll offer to dismiss it if he wants to take that stuff down. That's simply just not true. And he uses it to incite harassment, of course. And she said to the prosecutor, don't bet that he's going to take it down, because he's just one of those people that doesn't, can't think logically. It's really about just like in his eyes thinking he's winning. And so, of course, they refused, right? And so then Betterow moved to try to have it dismissed. And the judge was like, no. The judge was like, this has been going on since November and it hasn't moved at all. To be fair, though, to the court system, I know the judge was a little frustrated that it didn't go forward yesterday, but Your Honor, the New Jersey court are the ones who put it off twice already. It wasn't either party, it was the court. The court is the one that put it off twice, or maybe even 3 times, but they moved it more than a month away each time. So this time the judge said, all right, you know what? We will give 2 weeks because there's other things that the prosecutor needs to collect. And we'll move forward with it in 2 weeks. So they will see in 2 weeks. Hello, Brave. In 2 weeks, they will move forward with this New Jersey case with Donna. And in the meantime, he still has the New Jersey case with Lindsay, the Lindsay from New Jersey. And that case is even worse than the one that he has with Donna that the judge refused to dismiss yesterday, even though Betterow asked for it. So you can only imagine. Then you have, what a life to be in court every single day. One of the things that I love about his followers and the shit that they say is that they call everybody else obsessed or psycho or whatever, right? I love that they do that. Oh, you're just obsessed with him. No, see, there's a difference between being obsessed with someone and allowing him to stomp all over victims, innocent people all over again, over and over and over and over and over, and having no accountability, not talking about it, leaving those people to hang in the wind. I have helped too many of his victims and known too much of what the fuck he does to just sit by and just say nothing. I'm not that person. I'm not going to sit by and say nothing because I know what it felt like when people were too afraid to stand up for me. I will never be that person. So there's a big difference between being obsessed with someone and making sure that you are calling out bad behavior. Now, isn't that something that Aiden himself claims that he'll always do, is call out bad behavior? The problem with that is Aiden doesn't call out bad behavior. He manufactures bad behavior to hide his own shit. So if he thinks you know too much about what he does, or if he thinks that you could out him, he's going to manufacture a mountain out of a molehill, and you're going to be the worst person on planet Earth. And then he's going to say, well, I'm just calling out their bad behavior. No, you're not. What you're doing is hiding your own bad behavior undercover, which is a pattern of behavior with him. It's a long time pattern of behavior with him. But we're dealing with a man who doesn't give a fuck about anyone but himself. So I love when they say some stupid shit like that because you know it's him or one of his idiot minions. I actually blocked like 3 accounts that said like the exact same thing to me. I think it was like 2 days in a row. And each of them were like, you talk 6 to 10 hours a day about a man you don't know. Well, that's wrong. I absolutely know. I know what he's going to do before he's going to fucking do it. Number 1. Number 2, I cover other things. Number 3, he's a horrible human being that hurts people. It's gone on for far too long. It is time for people to come together and speak about what they know and show people what they've been through when it comes to him. Because people have been threatened and bullied into silence for far too long at this point. For far too long. And I love when you get some of these. Someone else said that to me the other day, Magic. Actually, now that you say that, it has to do with my medications. I was the milligrams of my medication was going down, and it holds a lot of water weight in your body, so it gives you like a lot of bloat, I guess. And for the past couple months, like 6 or more, it's been slowly coming down to switch to a different medication. So that's in getting rid of like the water weight bloat, actually. So thank you for that, actually. So no, New Jersey's different than Massachusetts, where actually I tried to pull a Freedom of Information Act on one of the hearings, and they literally just flat out ignored me over there in New Jersey. Like, excuse you, that's actually illegal. Excuse you, that is actually illegal. But it is exhausting. Hello, Ruthie. Happy Friday, Matt. So, yeah, I mean, this is just, we're dealing with a man that could give a fuck less about anyone but, quote, winning, right? He's got to give a false narrative no matter what that narrative is, you know? I can't do it. I know there are people who can, and that's, you know, and I appreciate them because they are the ones who bring me the clips. And, you know, I'm very particular about, I can't just have a clip of like, it might look bad. I need to see what happened before it, what happened after it, in the context of it. But people do send me the clips, and I go over them, and I'm like, this motherfucker, like, just, he lies like he breathes. And it's so easy for him at this point because he's lied so much that he can't even remember, number one, his lies. So he, you know, contradicts himself constantly. I need bloatation device. I probably need one of those too. The bloat is terrible. You know, I watched Microjots, how they frame TV. Microjots at this point should be bowing out and shutting the fuck up. You know, I mean, that's weird. Who does that? Like, who does that about minor children? Nonetheless, minor children. Like, is that necessary for minor fucking children? I don't really think that it is, right? So while we're dealing with the New Jersey case that happened yesterday, which again, they'll reconvene in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, the Lindsay, New Jersey case is going to happen, right? Then the hearing that Aiden had on Friday for the restraining order was then moved to Monday. And why, you ask? Well, if you weren't here when I was talking about it, Thursday? Was it Thursday or Friday? God, I can't today. Today's Friday. So his hearing was the 8th, right? So it was Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday, I talked about it Wednesday, maybe it was. I don't remember. It was one day this week. I've been at the doctor so many times this fucking week and not been here that I just can't even. But so if you heard me talk about it, then you know, where the hell's my phone? Oh, here it is. Then you know that Jess Machado put out the fake narrative of, oh, well, it's being put off now because of Meredith's attorney. No, false. That is just completely and utterly false. And for someone who's supposed to be a, quote, reporter or journalist, you should damn well know how the court works. But considering you're not actually a journalist or a reporter or care about facts, Jess, I'll fix it for you. So what really happened was, in pure Bradel fashion, Mr. Bradel brought a flash drive that morning of the hearing and handed it to Meredith's attorney, essentially saying, hey, we're going to use this stuff today. Well, that's improper, right? The other attorney has the right to see what you're going to bring ahead of time and has the right to bring other things to show either it's not relevant, it's a lie, or it's fake, right? And Aiden has a real bad habit of falsifying evidence, manufacturing evidence, and bringing fake evidence into court. He also has a bad habit of having his attorneys proffer evidence that's not real or that has been altered. So if I'm Meredith's attorney, then I say to the judge, Your Honor, there's no way we can go forward today if Mr. Bradel wants to use this flash drive that he brought me today, because I have to have time to look this over. Now, the judge mulled around about, well, can we have you look at it, during a break or whatever. But even if he looked at it during a break, that does not give the attorney or the client sufficient time to fight back against what's in it. So no, that wouldn't be sufficient. And if it was Bradel, you can bet your ass he'd say, well, Your Honor, he can't give us something right now this morning and then expect that we're going to have an answer today right now. We're going to have to put this off. That would have been Bradel's argument if it was his client. And you can bet your ass it's going to be anybody else's argument. They need to have time to properly prepare. It is not proper for an attorney like Mr. Bradel to bring something last minute or that morning and expect to use it. Not proper. Bradel knew that. This is something he does a lot in a lot of cases. He was actually sort of yelled at by the judge in Aiden's cases, and they literally had to set a 2 or 3 week limit that you have to file things ahead of time because of him doing this, right? He's done it so many times in so many cases for Aiden, it's kind of ridiculous at this point. Oh, thank you, Corn Dead. That was really nice of you. Who got them? Let me see. Who got them? Smitty Lee, I love that. Sweet Treasures, Tequila Mockingbird, Nanya, and Hell No, Not Today, Satan. Congratulations, guys. That was so nice, Corn Dead. Thank you so much. Oh God, her name's Christine, and I honestly feel bad for her. But yeah, Bradel is, I will explain that in a second, KB. Bradel is another scumbag. So bottom line is he tried to sort of pull a fast one with the court, and Meredith's attorney, as he should have, was like, no, we can't. If he wants to move forward with what's on here, then we need sufficient time to be able to, address this issue. And so the judge was like, okay, we'll further hear it on Monday then. So the hearing has been moved to this upcoming Monday. Now, you can bet your behind that after what happened at that hearing, where Tom CPU, Meredith's attorney comes out the door, he opens the door and he's holding it open, trying to get Meredith and Jason to just get out and get away from these fucking lunatics, right? People took issue with him being like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. That's what a good attorney would do. Get you away from the fucking circus clowns, right? Because if you're around those circus clowns for too long, some shady shit's going to happen because that's what these people do. So I'd be telling you to move it too, right? So he's like, come on, let's go, let's go. And of course, what is Tom doing behind him? He's got the camera on a stick and he's got it basically like sitting at the back of this guy's fucking head. So the guy like feels something, the attorney, and he like goes like this, right? Knocks camera down, blah, blah, blah. And here goes Tom claiming a fake assault. You're assaulting me, blah, blah, blah. He's like, he's got 2 hearing aids. Okay, maybe he didn't hear you then while you decided you were going to wrangle around a fucking phone in his personal space. First of all, you know better than to put a camera that close to someone. Not only is it pure ignorance, but it's common fucking sense, right? Personal space, my dude. So if your shit gets broken, that's on you. It's not an assault. Actually, you assaulted them, is how the law actually reads, okay? So that's just ridiculous. So nonetheless, Tom whines and bitches about this fake assault that didn't happen. And then when he starts running his mouth to Meredith's attorney, and Meredith's attorney's like, you don't want to do this with me, bud, right? You don't want to do this with me. Of course, Tom snaps back, waits until he walks away and goes, oh, he's got 2 hearing aids. He's going to need 2 leg aids if he keeps it up. That's a threat. That's a threat of violence. That was awfully fucking stupid. But of course, we're not dealing with a very smart man. Aiden's not smart. So, of course, he coaxes the mob to come to the courthouse. Oh, this is where it's going to be. This is so you guys can come. But it's always the same, like 5 or 6 idiots, right? You always have Dina, Erica, Tom. Where are his, quote, real close friends? They want nothing to do with any of this. Where's Will, right? Where's Will? Where's Nurse Kim, right? Where's all his friends, right? Where's Melanie Little? Like, where's his solid friends? Also, why aren't any of these people covering his cases? It's a good question, right? It's the same reason no one wants to cover his case is because there's no way to cover it from an angle where he's going to win. And if you are going to pretend to be a friend of his, you can't possibly cover his case because you know he's going to lose and you're going to look like a fucking idiot. So then you just don't cover it at all, right? You don't cover it at all because you can't simp for someone like that knowing the shit that he did and then try to claim he's innocent. It's just not going to fucking work. So they just don't cover it at all. But, Purple Kool-Aid drives up. He drives up from fucking Baltimore. Mind you, Purple Kool-Aid uses his platform to say he got the okay from Aiden, right? Well, I got the okay from Aiden, and then goes on to literally threaten Meredith. Like, Meredith, you might want to stop this. You know, you have time to stop this right now. Because what does he say? Something about like Aiden being like the receipt king. And I laughed so fucking hard when somebody sent me that goddamn clip. I said, he's joking, right? Imagine being so brainwashed. Imagine as a grown man being so brainwashed by another grown man that you actually believe words that are coming out of your mouth, like Aiden always brings receipts, or he's the receipt king, or saying things like, all the lies you put in that paperwork, Meredith, it's all going to come crashing down. It's going to burn. Look at the public humiliation you're going to get. Like, first of all, that's a threat, number one. Number two, you just said you got the okay from Aiden, and here you are saying her full name, job title, what she does for work, so that, you know, Google will pick it up. You're a fucking idiot. You know, trying to hurt her in getting a job. But then you move on to say things like, we are going to deal with a ton of public humiliation. You might want to just back out now. Imagine believing in your mind that Aiden didn't lie. Imagine actually believing that after all that you just know even a little bit about. Never mind not knowing what happened behind closed doors, because Purple might think he knows, but he don't know shit. What he's going to realize fairly quickly in court here is that Aiden has lied through his teeth once again, and there is a plenty of evidence to prove it. And so, once again, Aiden is going to look like a fucking idiot for having these people simp for him while he lies, hoping and praying that he can keep it secret and his lies do not become exposed. And if they do become exposed, he can just say, well, that's just a lie, or that's fake, or it's not real, or, you know, all the things that he normally says when he gets caught. That's just how he operates, right? Like, that's mostly how he fucking operates. So he just hopes, right? Like, he just hopes and prays that he doesn't get caught fucking lying. Unfortunately for him, that's what's going to happen. Meredith has more than enough evidence to prove he's fucking lying and acting a goddamn fool. I don't know if he's still alive. That's a good question, Sarah. The 5150 name is something that Jessica, who also, and I'm going to tell you guys about the filing that Meredith's attorney filed after all of this happened at the court the other day in a second. And 5150 is a police code for an involuntary, like, commitment, basically mental health, right? And so Jess's show started calling her that, which in turn then Aiden's people started calling her that. Make no mistake, there was, you know, collusion between Jess and Aiden to do all of this. And, you know, Jess and Purple are not smart enough to not talk. And so instead, what do? Aiden gave me the okay. Aiden said I could, blah, 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 blah. That, you guys, is called witness intimidation. That's what that's called. When you are actively trying to harm a witness against someone, and that person's then giving you the okay to do so, that's witness intimidation. It's third-party harassment. It's also breaking the restraining order via third party, okay? There are third-party portions of restraining orders for a reason, and that is because narcissists tend to try to use another party, whether it's a family member, a friend, or whatever, to harass, intimidate, and, you know, and try to quiet up a witness against them. And Aiden has done this against Meredith way too many times, right? And quite a few since the restraining order was put in place. That is a separate problem for him now, because she has clearly at this point filed with the court that he has broken the restraining order multiple times, not just by texting her. Apparently he texted her 2 words. I don't know what the words were, but he apparently texted her, and then had Jessica try to claim it was an accident. Well, it's an iPhone. There is no accident when you do that. So that goes out the window. And so if I'm the new girlfriend, jump for joy, I would run for the fucking hills. What she told people who were there was she wanted to be there to support Aiden. And, you know, if she was a little worried about the pushback, but at the same time, you know, she wanted to support Aiden. Christine, wake up. That's what I have to say to her. Wake up. Instead of Christy, wake up, and Christine, wake up. Because unfortunately, and I feel really horrible for her, she's going to be Meredith or Lindsay in another 6 months, 3 months, a year, whatever the case may be. Aiden does not know how to just get out of a relationship and just quietly go his separate way. He never has, and he never fucking will. The only way he does that is if you keep kissing his ass and you keep following him around like a puppy dog, like Lauren does, right? It's the only reason why you haven't seen him shit on her yet, is because she still does whatever he wants whenever he asks her to do it. It's the only way. If you try to go your separate way and move on with your life, well, he cannot have that. He cannot have that. Yeah, Purple cried and whines because, well, the attorney's jacket hit him. He was assaulted by a jacket. You know, these pussy ass, pansy ass bitches, bro. For real. Yeah, all the way from Baltimore. It's beyond dramatic at this point. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, yes, Tom and his fake assaults, you know. Well, yeah, I mean, all of these people are just going to look very silly in the long run. Yeah, who the fuck brings a knife and a box cutter and hides it outside of court? Put it in your fucking car, you weirdo. Like, not for nothing, but if you're not leaving it in your car, that tells me you had bad intentions with it. And with his criminal record, I wouldn't doubt it. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? Well, that's the other thing. Why are you right behind the door, blocking people from coming out of the door? Well, make no mistake, it was because he was waiting for Meredith to come out so he could catch Meredith on tape. What's funny about that is Aiden has already written an article about Tom, about Jess. He would write them again in a heartbeat if they did something he didn't like. And actually, this whole debacle outside the courthouse might be the nail in the coffin. You know, Aiden can't really stand Tom. He tells people that privately. He doesn't really like Tom. He thinks he causes too many issues, which he does. And so at this point, I know, where is Richie? Interesting, isn't it? Where is Richie? Why is he not up Aiden's ass anymore? Once the Karen Reed case was over, he's no longer following him around with a camera. That's funny. I honestly feel like, you know, Richie, when I met him the few times I did, seemed to be a quiet, sort of chill dude. But if you are that blinded by another grown man and fame that you have to lie for him, that's where I draw the line. You know what I mean? If I'm the court, I would be tired of his pathetic bullshit, you know? Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is, but that's why he's not going to cover Aiden's case, you know? Like, who does that? Who fucking does that, you know? Oh, wow. I wonder if he moved into his car that he can't drive, you know? So if he wants his channel to grow, you're just not on anymore. That makes sense, especially right after you move. That makes, you know, definitely don't want to make income when you move. Who wants to do that, you know? That's what it was. It's going to get bad for you if you don't basically stop, was his, yeah, receipt daddy. It was fucking hilarious. I literally was taking a sip of something, almost freaking spit it out. That's how funny it was. It's like, dude, you don't even realize how bad this person is. Like, you don't even realize that Aiden has manufactured receipts. He's made up receipts. He's falsified receipts. He's tried to set people up he just doesn't like, or he doesn't think he's going to win against. Like, that's what he does. And the fact that another grown-ass man drove all the way from Baltimore, who has been harassing her on behalf of him and then stupidly saying it, right, is fucking hilarious to me. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. How stupid these people are. Bringing those people in front of the courthouse was probably one of the stupidest things you could have done, and I said it many times ahead of time. It was fucking stupid, because what are you showing the judge? You're showing the judge that these people are going to do exactly what you tell them to do and what you need them to do. That's what you're showing the judge. Why do you think Meredith didn't want a whole rigmarole or circus there? There was a reason for that. You know? Yeah, like, come on. That's the other thing. Like, blaming her. Yeah, exactly. Where is right? Blaming Meredith for everything, of course. You know, another grown ass man. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants you here in Massachusetts, dude. You're not fucking welcome. Stay in goddamn Baltimore. You know what I mean? Yeah, getting the go ahead. He talks directly to her, says her name and everything. That's third party, guys. Getting the go ahead from Aiden and directly speaking to the victim. That's third party violation. That's a third party fucking violation. I mean, these people are not smart people. Yeah, it got taken down, but apparently it went back up. I guess it's back up. And no, the conflicts are not new to him. You know? Yeah, it got reinstated, Leah. I don't fucking know why. What's so funny to me is Jess Machado criticizing anybody if she still hasn't sent out all those fucking clothes from her closet that she supposedly, you know, sold to her viewers and still hasn't sent them. That's called a scam. Okay. When you know that you haven't done it and you wait like 6 or 8 weeks and then you say, you know, it hasn't been on the top of my list of things to do, but I'm going to get it done. And then you still don't get it done. That's a fucking problem. Okay. That's a problem. You have a car. You're driving around for fucking 2 hours telling people about a box truck in a private property driveway that you don't like. You can't bring the clothes down to the fucking post office. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Well, you never know. They could be, exchanging information. I wouldn't doubt that they would be. You know what I mean? Because this is going to move into criminal at some point. If he has broken a restraining order, a judge has to decide whether he broke it or not, and that becomes a criminal matter. You know? Well, if I'm her attorney, I definitely do that anyway, because you can't hand me something right there in court and then, you know, decide that you're going to use that right then. I don't have a time to look at it. I don't have time to bring in documentation to show it's not relevant, it's fake, it's altered, or it's cherry picked. They have to. They have to prove, yeah, definitely that is unhinged. Which I mean, he definitely gives us all that evidence himself, like a fucking idiot. You're welcome. I have his book. I've read it, and so I've gone over a little bit of it with you guys. But the amount of lies in his book is fucking amazing. I don't know where it is, it's somewhere, but it's amazing. It's the same bullshit he does now, but his mindset is always been the same. It's never changed. It'll always be the same. Now, Meredith's attorney smartly filed another filing after the shit happened at court. And he literally names out Jess Machado, Tom, and Purple by name, and there are no names. Jess as a, quote, person who has registered as a reporter and or media, but has targeted attacks against Meredith. Purple, who has, and then at the end of that filing, it's just page after page of instances of these people doing Aiden's dirty work for Aiden and saying, like, Aiden said, okay, Aiden said I could, blah, blah, blah. That's third-party harassment. It's targeted harassment. It's also criminal harassment. They're lucky they're not being charged with that. Yeah, it's an involuntary, hold, basically. It's in our state, it's called a Section 12. That's what it's called here. Section 35 would be for drugs and alcohol. A Section 12 is on involuntary mental health hold. But it's 5150 is a code in California for an involuntary hold. They're mocking mental health is what they're fucking doing. They're mocking mental health. Christie's right. Like, that's what they're doing. Absolutely, his bail can be revoked for that because it turns into a criminal matter. Once he breaks a restraining order and a judge says, yep, you broke the restraining order, it's now a criminal matter. Once you break a civil restraining order, it's a criminal matter. So, yeah, absolutely. So that's the thing. It's not up. But I can tell you guys what it says, right? So it essentially says Aiden has been using people as third parties to attack her and continue to attack her. The attorney maps out everything that happened with Tom and the fact that Tom threatened him and puts the quote in there, maps out that Jess Machado has been there and has had targeted attacks against Meredith and who was there at the court, and Purple, who showed up from Baltimore, who has been targeted attacking Meredith for months under the basically the puppet master being Aiden and him admitting it. Then there's quotes in there of his, things that he said on the show showing that that's the shit that he's doing. And so Meredith's attorney rightfully asks the court to make it a private hearing where people are not allowed in because she has tried to keep it private. And this is what the filing says, that she has tried to keep it private this whole time. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you here. I don't know why they haven't arrested him because anybody I know who's ever broken a restraining order, they don't wait to go to court. They don't fucking give you a hearing right away. They arrest your ass. They, arrest your ass, and then they bring you into court and let you have a fucking hearing. This new thing that they've been doing with Aiden, which is like waiting until they file with a clerk and wait for a clerk to have a hearing and all this. I've never seen this shit happen more often than with him. Normally, you just get arrested for breaking the restraining order. If the cops say there's probable cause, you show them probable cause, they go and arrest you. So the fact that they haven't is really concerning to me because I don't really understand why they haven't just arrested his ass. If it was anyone else, they would have. That's the part that bothers me. It really does. That's so crazy to me. She might need an R on a couple of these idiots, but again, that's what he does. He uses third parties. But so the third party, so basically her attorney puts into the filing that these people have been harassing, defaming, insulting, and then inciting others on their platforms, just as Aiden has, as he uses them to do third-party harassment so that he later on can feign ignorance, as he always does. The problem is all of these people have admitted publicly that, oh, well, Aiden gave me the okay. Well, Aiden said I could. Well, blah, 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 blah. Like fucking idiots. First of all, a few of these idiots have committed witness intimidation. Purple being the main culprit of that one. Maybe you should know that you're, breaking laws for a turtle before you do it, sir. Okay? You cannot threaten and intimidate a witness against someone, even a perceived witness. That is witness intimidation. Okay? Like, that's a thing. You didn't fucking forget. Even if you forgot, you walk back to your car and you put it in your car. Or you ask someone else to put it in their car. Bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got dressed. That means you had to put it in your dress pants pocket, I don't know. They said it's purple. I have no idea who it was. I wasn't there. Yes, down the stairs, because you'd have a better shot at the bottom of the stairs than being right behind the goddamn door. That's kind of common sense, Okay, Jason clarified then. Thank you, Tracy. Jason clarified the knife situation on next post, I guess. I apologize, guys. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I've been in and out of the doctors this week multiple times with my health, and so there's definitely a few things that I probably missed or didn't miss. So thank you. The knives Tom dug out of the bushes. He moved into an apartment. Oh, it wasn't the backseat of his car. Yeah, he had his followers furnish the apartment. Of course he did. After he went through my wish list, like it was not like nobody's ever allowed to have one, which I found funny that they wanted to mock the fact that I had a wish list, but they never said a word about Melanie Little or any of the other people that they follow. EDB has one, I believe, or had one at some point. Like Melanie Little has one. You didn't say a fucking word about that, did you? It just goes to show how hypocritical they are. It's only if people they don't like. That's the bottom line. It's only people they don't like, they want to say, oh my God, the filing calls him Turtlehead instead of Turtle Boy. It's kind of funny because you can tell that clearly the attorney just doesn't know. Like he just assumes the name is Turtlehead and not Turtle Boy. But it's fucking funny because he constantly calls Aiden Turtlehead. Turtlehead, known as Turtlehead. So fucking funny in the filing. I was laughing so hard. I'll do home, right? But still, they called it grape soda. Shut the hell up. Well, they used his name and they used his known as Purple Kool-Aid because it's not just his YouTube channel name. It's also his like name that he goes by when he talks to people too. So it's like people. I use my regular name. People could call me just Twisted or Untwisted, but they still call me Elise because that's what I go by. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I don't think Meredith had a choice in this point. What was she supposed to do? Basically, she was just, she, just like everyone else who's had to get an order on him, was basically bullied into doing it. It's either that or allow him to just keep fucking destroying your life. I mean, you really don't have a choice, and I think Meredith's lawyer is doing exactly what he should be doing, Oh, they're not leaving negative reviews on our attorney's page. Oh my God, these people have so much fucking time on their hands. Like, when does it end? Why did JB go? He was a witness. He's a witness. He's a witness. He's ready to testify. Jason is a witness and ready to testify. So that's the thing, right? Is that Meredith has a witness. And the stuff that Jason knows it's not just what Jason knows, it's also what Jason has in terms of evidence. In my opinion, I know him, right? I know the shit that he does and says behind closed doors to his girlfriends and ex-girlfriends because I advised one of them while he was doing it, okay? And another one after he had done it. And he was sending people to do it. So and I'm sure Jason's going to have a lot to say when this is over. Let's just make that known. I think Jason's going to have a lot to say about it when all of this is over because he tried to like broker peace basically and say like, let's just not have this go public, and like let's just like, what do you want and what do you want out of this, and like let's just fucking squash this, right? Because with Aiden, everything has to be some sort of weird deal. He can't just go about his business and go about his life and move on. He doesn't know how to do that. He just doesn't, and it's sad. It's like, dude, move on with your fucking life. Like, and you have to know that when Meredith was with him, she used to get really upset, like that he couldn't stop talking about Lindsay. Imagine how Christine feels, right? His new girlfriend. Imagine how Christine feels. Can you imagine that she's super happy? That's all he talks about. You know what I mean? And Leah's right. When does it end? When does it fucking stop? And I think Beach is right when he goes to jail. Hey, Natalie. Oh my God. Purple and his followers said they didn't believe the filing because TV didn't tell Purple. That is fucking pure entertainment right there. So because Aiden didn't tell you it doesn't exist and it didn't happen, that's fucking peak amazing because it did happen. It's a real filing. Did he post the audio? I have no idea. I can have somebody check. Did he post the audio? So here's the thing. Meredith's attorney is moving in that motion that he just made to make these hearings private so that the witnesses are outside and or inside the courtroom, but just the witnesses, wherever they want to put the witnesses, and the parties. That's it. Closed private hearing, because Aiden and his team of clowns used the hearings and the public filings and all of it to further incite harassment against Meredith. He points out that Aiden told his people many times where the courthouse was, what time the hearing was, and to show up there. Okay. Then he points out all the things that happened with the followers at the fucking hearing. Also, that one of them was thrown out and isn't allowed back for taking pictures. That's very clear to everyone that you're not allowed to take pictures. Let's be real. She could pretend she didn't know all she wants. She fucking knew. She very well knew. Everyone who steps in a courtroom knows you can't take fucking pictures in a goddamn courtroom, right? So she fucking knew. So the lawyer points out that this person, one of his followers, is taking pictures of the courtroom. That's something that has happened before with them illegally recording things. So, this person does this. Tom does that. Purple is there, and he's all the way there from Baltimore after, basically harassing her and using her name constantly and saying that Aiden allowed him to. That's third party, right? And so this is a fucking problem that she's saying, Your Honor, my client. He's saying, Your Honor, my client has tried to keep this private and has, impounded her filings for a reason, because it contains sensitive information about, my minor child and intimate private communications and things of that nature. And here we are with this idiot constantly trying to use it as a tactic. And so the judge, Meredith's lawyer, puts in the filing that this is always and is right now a tactic for Aiden. This is how he tries to publicly shame, humiliate, and incite further, is to use the hearings and the information from the hearings. And so he is asking that these hearings become private, right? And so I don't see a good reason why the judge wouldn't make them private at this point. I don't know. Yeah, there's cameras outside the courtroom, so I don't know. But I don't know, why tell on yourself publicly that they're and they just don't know how to keep anything to themselves. It is kind of fascinating that you have to be that fucking stupid to not know when to not say something, right? She is a private citizen. What do you mean? How can she be a every private citizens post all over X all the time. Just because you're posting on X doesn't make you not a private citizen. You can talk in spaces, you can post on X just like anyone else on planet Earth and still be a private citizen. You're not a public, saying someone is a public person, just saying it doesn't make them a public person. Just having a YouTube channel with less than 1,000 or 3,000 or 5,000 followers doesn't make you a public person either. Saying someone's public doesn't make them a public person or of public interest at all, as a matter of fact. I can be a private citizen and post on X. I can be a private citizen and post on Facebook. I can be a private citizen and post on X, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and still talk in spaces. It doesn't magically make you of any public importance. It's just not the way it works. We're not in movies. We're not movie stars, right? Like that's not. You're not a politician. She is a public citizen, a private citizen. She's a private citizen. That's what she is. Aiden is attempting to make her of public interest, but that doesn't make somebody of public interest at all. Well, he drank the Kool-Aid, all right, and then some. And then some, you know? I agree with you, Natalie. They're the dumbest criminals on planet Earth, you know? You're still a private citizen. Hey, girl, hey, didn't I just see you? Didn't I just see you on the YouTube one? You bouncing around, girly? Good for you, though. That's okay. I know I'm behind on the comments. I apologize, guys. Exactly. You can do that. You can be a private citizen, do all those things, you know? All those things. Jason doesn't know who brought them. That was the only clarification. Okay, thank you. Wait, he had a sleepover at Aiden's house? Ew, gross. That is fucking, but that just goes to show, why go? You're not his best friend. As a matter of fact, if Purple and Aiden never have a blowout, guess what Aiden's going to say? He was just a mega fan. That's what he's going to say. I would bet money on it right now. He was just a fan. Just like he tried to say about Jen Altman. Really, just a fan that you bring to your mother's funeral that you've known for years? Oh, yeah, just a fan. Sure thing, bud. Sure thing. Melanie Little did. She had an Amazon wishlist at one point. I wonder if Aiden found out about the new motion put out by our lawyer yesterday. His bus stop this AM is members only. He's probably just another cash grab. He absolutely knows about it. His lawyer would have gotten it. So, yeah, he knows about it 100%. Kind of streaming technology is interesting. Yeah, not many. I agree. But that's what they do, is they just give more and more and more evidence, you know? Yes, Machado is one of the people that called Meredith's job and ultimately got her fired. And so if Meredith chooses, she could file a civil case and would have a really good civil case against Jessica Machado for a multitude of things, including her job and money for job loss, you know? Hold on one second. He told him not to wear pajamas. You know what I find so funny about that is the one time that he tried to claim that I wore pajamas after he didn't like me anymore, and they were a pair of black skull leggings. They're black and they had skulls on them. They were leggings. And I didn't intend and didn't go inside the courthouse. I was only there to be outside of the courthouse to talk to people outside, see what was happening there. And after he didn't like me anymore, then he bitched and whined and said, oh, they were pajamas. Like the fact that that man doesn't know the difference between a pair of leggings and pajamas, like he would call these pajamas. These are leggings, everyone. You know the difference between leggings and pajamas. And I love these leggings because they're one of my favorite pairs of leggings. But these are leggings, everyone. Nylon leggings, but this is what he would call pajamas, is leggings. So funny to me. He doesn't seem to know the goddamn difference, or he just doesn't care. But you're talking about people like law attorneys, not girls, or whatever the fuck, not attorneys, law girls, whatever the hell, who's wearing a hoodie and, you know, whatever, and Jassu's wearing jeans. Like, what the fuck? Like, are we like, and then they want to talk about what Meredith's wearing. She was wearing a suit. It was a suit. Like, what's the problem with the suit? Oh, well, she got it on Amazon. First of all, let me throw something out there. There's a lot of clothes on Amazon that are fucking quite expensive, number one. Number two, I don't give a shit if she bought it at Target, Amazon, fucking consignment shop. What does it matter where it was bought or how much it costs? Why would that matter at all? It doesn't. It fucking doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. It freaking doesn't, you know? That's hilarious. I love that for him, you know? Yeah, Purple Kool-Aid. The judge is probably like, who the fuck in hell names himself that unless you're, you know, drinking that Kool-Aid? Like, come on. Yeah, all 6 of them. I can't. I can't with these people. Yeah, I mean, just having tweets or making tweets doesn't make you like a person of public interest. Aiden just uses that. That's the same language he uses towards really anybody he harasses. Oh, they're of public interest. No, they're not. It's a way of excusing his shit. I mean, I don't give a shit where you bought your clothes from. Why does that matter? You know? Like, yeah, I won't play that. And there's a reason why, right? I get it. You know, definitely for information purposes, it shows what he's willing to say. But you know, not so many words. What he basically does is like threaten Meredith. He's like, you could stop doing this right now. You might want to rethink doing this. You're going to look like an idiot and have all this, you know, public shaming. And it's like, no, what's going to happen, Paul, is you're going to realize fairly quickly that Aiden doesn't care who he makes look like a fucking idiot or a moron for lying for him. That he will allow you to defend him until the cows come home and lie to your face to let you defend him until the cows come home. Until and even after people have proven he lied, right? Even after all the documents, text messages, phone calls, after it all comes out, he will still find a way to try to talk around it. And that is Aiden's problem. Is he doesn't care how many of these idiots he makes look like idiots for defending him when he knows he's lying. He just hopes that it never comes out that he is, right? Yeah, he was telling her she better stop. You know, she's going to get public shaming. I mean, again, that's using a third party to harass someone who already has a restraining order. That's third party harassment. The fact that he stayed at his house, the fact that he showed up in court just goes to show they have a connection. Stupidest thing either one of them could have done. But again, we're not dealing with very smart people here. Wait a second. He posted her ex parte RO hearing today? Interesting. Hold on. Please hold while I find this. Jason is someone who's friends with, well, was friends with both of them at one point, but his handle on X is not Haley Walbrecht. Yeah, it is. I've listened to that myself already. Someone directed me to it back when it happened. But the judge can keep them out of there. And that's why they're trying to have it be private. That's why her lawyer put in that filing to make it private. Because all it's doing is allowing the circus clowns to come in. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you kind of have to go to her stuff to report it, unfortunately. That's how it works. Yeah, because she was using people's if somebody uses your private like pictures and stuff, you can report that. It should be taken down. Although it's a harder chance of having it taken down if it's a larger creator. That's just unfortunately the way it works. Account suspended. Hold on. Hold the fuck up. Did Aiden's account get suspended? Interesting. Hold on a second. Hold the fuck up here. Oh, wow. I feel like. Hold on. What the fuck? Hold on. Did anyone get tossed out of their channels? I got bounced from JFK Young to expand this channel. Wait, what? Like your subscriber? That's weird. That shouldn't have happened. I am trying to do Well, thanks for becoming a member again, Pat. I didn't know that that happened. I'm sorry. Oh, what usually happens is once your subscription is up for the month, you have to like repay for it again, or it doesn't like automatically renew unless you set it to automatically renew, I believe. But subscribing, it should be fine. Yeah, well, that's part of the brainwashing, Sarah, is to repeat yourself over and over until people believe what you're saying, you know? Because, okay, so KB, this is something that he's done with all his girlfriends. He doesn't want them right next to him. A, because he doesn't want people to know it's his girlfriend. B, because he needs to have all that attention on himself. So a lot of the times he'll tell his girlfriends not to hold his hand, not to stand next to him, stand behind him, stand away from him. Maybe the trolls, this is what he uses as an excuse. Maybe the trolls won't figure out who you are. Or they won't attack you as much if you're not with me and you're standing away from me. Again, this is a pattern of behavior. And if any of these girls were smart, they would have went back and looked at how he's done this before with other girlfriends, and it's the same exact shit. He's had them stand away from them, far away from him, behind him, not next to him, not holding his hand. Like, this is the stuff that he does. And let's be honest, it's all about attention. God forbid, you know? I do ignore it, but it's just weird, you know? They can use my scars all day long. You want to know why? Because I shared them. So they can use it as a weapon until the cows come home. But I have shared my scars with the world. Hello, LTG. Where are all those turtle rhinos? Yeah, invisible, I guess. I'm trying to see. I don't see Aiden's his. I mean, someone else look and see if it's just me. Like, why post it? You know what I mean? It was. It should be impounded. Um. Hello, Lorelai, my darling. Thank you again, my friend. It is Dumb and Dumber. Someone else look and see if they can see his thing on Twitter, because right now I don't understand. I'm trying to. I don't find anything appealing about the shit that he does, to be honest. To be 100% honest, I don't find anything that he fucking does appealing at all. Let's see. Hey, Liquily, you saw on his YouTube. Oh, still, can somebody send me the link then? Because I don't see it. I don't know what is going on here. Hold on. I have a $20 donation. I do. Oh, thank you, Pat. Thank you so much, Pat T. I appreciate you. You're sick for a week. I've been sick a couple times this week myself with a lot of my health stuff going on. Serious. So, didn't know YouTube bounced me out of 3 channels resubscribing. Thank you so much, Pat. I appreciate that. While I am pulling this up, if I'm looking for if it's on his channel too, but I was hoping to just find it on his Twitter and not have to go to his fucking channel. Damn it. It's on. Why can't I fucking see it? What is the problem here? I am so confused right now. Hold on. Let's see. Aha. Hold on, I found it. While I'm pulling this up, you guys, I think I have it right here. Yep. But does he play the whole thing, or is he only playing a clip of it? That's the difference. I think he only plays a clip of it. Like, the whole thing would be nice to hear, not just a fucking clip. he is disgusting for posting the fucking audio. He's a piece of shit for that. But this is why I'm saying, like, I would rather play the entire thing than his dumbass little fucking clip of it. Because we know he's just going to play fuck with the clip and not play the entirety of it. And for me, his cherry-picked narratives are not what I want to play. I want the whole fucking thing that shows what a piece of shit he is instead of his dumb cherry-picked fucking narratives. So he's such a piece of shit. 13 minutes? I don't see 13 minutes. Where? On his Twitter? I don't see it on Twitter. I see this little video he made 36 minutes ago. Where do you guys see a whole 13-minute clip? She has the audio clips. Who does? Donated to her. You can put whatever name you want on there. So people probably did it. He is disgusting though. I see the 1 minute and friggin' thing he has. Oh, thank you, Pat. Why is he not on YouTube? Yeah, I'll do YouTube then. Why is he not arrested yet? That's a good fucking question. If it was anyone else in this state, he would have been. Members only bus stop live this morning. I'm not paying for that. Who has it already and can send it to me? I'll do it that way, but I'm not fucking paying that piece of shit a single fucking penny for any reason whatsoever. I refuse. I will not fucking do it. Oh, so he put it behind a paywall. Shit. I wonder if anybody get a clip of it. Because I flat out refuse to do that. Yeah, no, I don't bet there's any members here either. Freeze, are you a member by any chance? I know that you go to all of this stuff and listen to everyone. That's probably our only chance at that, because I refuse to pay a fucking single penny to that piece of human fucking garbage. You were able to listen to it on YouTube. Okay, let me try. Hold on. Let's see if we can try that way. Hey, Lisa and Cannoli. While I'm doing that real quick, I know I'm really bad at like remembering to do this, but I'm only, already an hour in, and we are an independent channel, and we only get by with the help of you guys. And so I would really appreciate it if you can hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. If you can help out monetarily, it's a huge help. Going through a lot of health issues right now, and not being here 2 days this week is literally killing me. So I appreciate any and all support from any of you. We have a multitude of options, including super chats, super stickers. We have direct options, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Revolut. We have an Amazon wish list, of course, which thank you again, Marcia, Lisa, and Cannoli, and all of you lately. My cat loves, you can tell Cannoli, my cat loves her new little, this is the one that I didn't put on her. I put the pink one on her, but this is the gray one that Lisa and Cannoli got us. And that gift card, that Instacart gift card that were sent was a huge help in my household, I'll tell you that one. But this is the one I didn't put on her. It looks the same, except the thing that hangs from the other one is a little bow instead of a little heart. And the one that she's wearing is pink. And I love this, Marsha. I love this so much. I can even put like a little sticker on here that says like snacks, I love it so much. It's under videos. All right, I'm looking. Okay, let me see. 42 minutes ago, is that it? Or 2 hours ago? Okay, I think I found it. Hold on. I think I found it. 2 hours ago. Yep, that's the one that I see. Let's see. Oh, LTG, thank you so much. LTG sends $20 and says, Happy Friday, Elise. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Oh, crap. Let me play this. I got to do something on my phone, too, that I forgot to do real quick while I'm doing this. All right. Let's listen because we're going to listen to the whole thing. If he wants to play it and then fucking spit out a false narrative, then we will play it and not spit out a fucking false narrative. I could have just paid for it for the record, but I might as well just play it from what he already posted because, you know, he paid the $10 to get it for the record, and I could have done that, but we can just play his version. So thanks for paying for it, Aiden. We know you want to give a false narrative about this. I mean, technically, he's allowed. Anybody can get these. I could have got this hearing and paid the $10 for it as well, but I wasn't going to if no one else was going to put it out there because I think that it should remain private. That's my opinion. But now that he's put it out there, you know he's going to spin a false narrative about it. And I am not going to allow him to sit there and spin a fucking false narrative about what actually fucking happened. So.
Aiden Kearney.
Yes, if I have that on the podium. Yes, please.
So we have.
Okay, I think you can release the camera off. We don't, I think we're all set.
There's the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. Just give me a moment while I review your request.
Sure.
It's very hard to read this, just so you know.
Well, when
so
someone's
some of it
upset,
you're gonna have to tell me what it says because the font is very small.
I'm sorry.
The font is too small.
the
Okay.
font
And
is
some of
too
these
small.
copies,
Okay.
That's weird.
I'm really straining my eyesight
I'm
and I can't
sorry.
read it.
I'm sorry. I
So
see what page you mean now.
just give me a moment. Let me review what.
Well, unfortunately, when you have a lot to write, you make the font a little smaller. And
Text messages.
can't change text messages to make them bigger.
So those ones were in the end of 2025, towards the end of the relationship, just showing him, like,
So what's at the end of 2025?
I think this was probably in June, towards the end of our relationship, where he would show up at my house. When I
Okay.
told him.
Hold on a second. Yeah, but then right here, I can't read. I mean, I'm gonna lose my eyes. I can't.
Well, if
see
you can't
because
read,
I
maybe
didn't have
you
my
should get
glasses.
glasses or change your prescription.
These are dates. So these are
Just saying.
2025. May 2025. March 2025. What are the dates on top of this page?
Those are also May 20th, 2025.
And what about the messages at the bottom? These messages over here. These have no dates.
Those, I believe, are also June.
Excuse me?
Sorry, those are either May or June 2025.
This is when Meredith got the restraining order. This is the ex parte hearing for when she got the restraining order against Aiden.
What about the ones on the next? Over, is this all from 2025?
It goes into 2026 as you keep going.
So when is this over here?
That's also in June 2025, the end of our relationship.
You're welcome. It's the ex parte hearing.
I have a question. I mean,
Yeah, I
I'm reading
refuse.
these things from October,
refuse to
September,
give him
November
fucking anything.
2025. Is there a reason why you didn't come to court back then and you're coming in today?
Yeah.
As I go on, so he was threatening to contact
Threatening.
my employer, and like two shows on it. He has like a YouTube show.
No, I understand.
So I
but
was,
I'm
I was just scared, and I was hoping it would stop, but it's gotten to the point now that just his contact to my work has gotten me fired, and now he's trying to purposely make sure I never find another job and get my CPA license taken away. It's just escalated to a point, and I didn't think it qualified for an order before this until I talked to a lawyer recently.
Absolutely does qualify. And Aiden's gotten away with it, let me point out, gotten away with it against people because he knows that he can't physically threaten them. So if he just stays away from physical threats, then it doesn't qualify for an RO, maybe an HBO, but not an RO. And so he's at least not stupid enough to do physical threats. The problem that he now has is coercive control was added to restraining orders. I think it was last year in Massachusetts under the definition of abuse. Coercive control is now part of the definition of abuse in the state of Massachusetts, and coercive control is another reason you can get an RO now. It doesn't have to be a physical threat anymore. Now coercive control allows you to get a restraining order against someone because it's part of abuse. And so the fact alone that he has done all this shit to get her fired, try to get her kid taken, her license, to get all these people to harass, like, innocent parties don't do shit like this to try to get someone to shut up or go away or not speak their truth. Innocent people don't need to do all that. And I will point out that all of Aiden's idiot minions that keep repeating, like, oh, well, it's Meredith, the one that attacked him. No, wrong. That's factually incorrect. Factually incorrect. She stayed quiet for months after they broke up. And behind the scenes, he was sending people to send her messages. He was threatening her himself. And it got worse and worse and worse and worse until he started using her as a scapegoat to blame her for things because he was getting caught in his lies at this point. And so he needed a scapegoat. And since they broke up, he was like, I'll use her and then I can just go and do shows on her and everybody will believe me because I've done this a million times before and everybody does believe me. And stupidly, some of these people, of course, then just believe him like an idiot, right? It's like, when are you guys going to pick up on the fact that this is a pattern of behavior? He is the common fucking denominator in all of it. And it's not just women he's dated. It's just people he doesn't like or people who can show people who he is. You think that's a fake cry? Then I guess you wouldn't know a real cry if you heard one then, huh? Guess you wouldn't know one. He does get joy out of hurting people. That's, yeah, tacos in the cult, clearly. If you think that that's a fake cry, then clearly you've never dealt with an abuser. Nobody cries for funsies. Sorry to tell you.
What did your employer do back in November of 2025?
In November,
Yeah, when they were getting phone calls, like, what, did you lose your job or?
So
Yeah,
it started
gets
really
people, like,
getting bad at the end of November, December, and I had spoken with an attorney who had me, I just filed like a statement with them just to proactively let them know what was going on and that because they started getting tagged on Twitter and getting calls to them. And they were like thankful at first, letting me know, but then it just continued for months. And then when I was fired on February 13th of this year, he said, you didn't violate any specific company policy, just the reputational risk there. It's a large bank, State Street, associated with Turtle Boy and his followers, like repeatedly tagging them and writing things in my name and saying State Street. It was just too much. So I was terminated after working there for over 5 years, and I got my personnel file, all good recommendations, all good reviews, literally nothing, no disciplinary, nothing about this. Probably because they didn't want to put in writing about it, and that's something separate I'm working with a lawyer with. But I was told it was purely because of him and his followers tagging them.
Okay.
No, you don't have to be sorry. That's your opinion, chicks. And
So
I
just
don't
so you know,
listen. I had the same type of opinion, you know. But I also understand coercive control, and I also understand being under the thumb of an abuser and knowing what you can say and what you can't do. You know, so I honestly, I I feel for her because I know what it's like to have to deal with somebody who coercively controls you and you have to walk on eggshells around. I do agree that I wish he had spoken out about his behavior when they were together. But again, I don't think that when you're in it with an abuser, sometimes you don't even realize how bad it actually is until you step out of it. And sometimes when you do realize how it is, you're too afraid to do or say anything because that might rock the boat, cause a huge problem, and then you're too worried about what he's going to do to you. So I wish things were black and white, but they're not black and white. And so I can definitely recognize that there are definitely things that I feel like I wish she would have spoken out about and said no and didn't do herself when it came to the people that he didn't like. But I can only hope that she understands now what that was like to those people and what it felt like to those people, and that she does her best to make it right and to, you know, stop him from doing it to other people. You know, like I can understand sort of her side of the coin and also your side of the coin because I had struggled with that myself, you know. Her CPA license has nothing to do with fucking anything, of course, but that's Aiden's way of just hurting people, you know, and he wants to blame everyone but himself, of course, you know. Well, it's not even just women, it's men too, you know. And so you have to think about karma in that way too. This is why I tell people don't do shit you wouldn't want done to you guys, because it is karma and karma will fucking get you. And so don't, for the love of God, try to be kind. Try to put good karma in the world, because fucking bad karma will come back for you eventually, dude. And that is what you do not want. Don't fucking do it, you know? Don't fucking do it. Oh, everyone can do much better than Turtlehead. I love that her attorney called him Turtlehead, which is funny. Turtlehead, you know? I agree. It doesn't mean that you can't empathize with someone or sympathize with what the fuck is happening to them and know that what's happening to them is still wrong. You know, her doing it to anyone is wrong, just like it happening to her is wrong, right? So I still have to say what's wrong when it's wrong, you know? And Machado's a fucking weirdo. I don't know why Ethel gets involved in shit that she gets involved in, you know? Right? Revoke the fucking bail is fucking right, dude. Like, time to do it, you know? Time to fucking do it. All right, sorry, let me back this up here.
So just so you know, I this person, Jason Broyles, is how you pronounce his last name. I mean, if he's gonna testify under oath, but I don't know that I can, just so you don't take that into consideration, just something signed by him, an affidavit.
Yeah, he said
Okay.
he would testify because
Okay,
he told him he was
Okay.
going to get me fired and not
Okay.
stop until my life was ruined.
okay.
It is,
No, I'm
Rose.
just letting you know because for purposes of today, I'm just
Carmen's a
letting you know that
totally get it.
that
Carmen
I
is a
can't
cat.
take that into consideration.
I do have some audio clips of Mr. Carney himself here too, just saying similar things of what I've documented
I
here
get
about.
the situation. Okay. Anything else that you would like me to know that it's not in the affidavit?
Just these audio clips of his words of him threatening these things.
Well,
I mean, I think
I don't
it's all
think
in here, and
wasting
just
the
I know
court's time at all,
one of the reasons I
Taco.
didn't come for.
She's not wasting the court time. If somebody was constantly calling your job and sending people to harass you, I don't believe that you're wasting a court's time. She tried not to do this, obviously. It's very clear that she tried not to do this. It comes to a point where you kind of don't have a fucking option. You know what I mean? Like, this is still not okay. What she's dealing with is still not okay. You don't have to like any of the things that she did. You don't even have to like her if you don't want to, right? Everyone can have their own opinion. I respect that, right? As long as it stays, you know, respectful. I respect everyone's opinion. But this is still not okay. And she didn't really have a choice, in my opinion. What else was she? Just like Lindsay didn't really have a choice but to get in order, just like she doesn't really have a choice but to get in order. And again, you don't have to like Lindsay. You don't have to like anything that she did either. But anyone being harassed into oblivion, their job being called, their child gone after, like I've dealt with it. It's not warranted. You don't have to like someone. You could just move on with your life and be like, I don't like that person. That's cool, you know. But the shit that Aiden does behind closed doors is just shit. Just shit. It's bad. You know, it's just fucking bad. And no, I mean, I don't condone anything that she did to anyone else either. That's my point, is you don't have to condone anything that she did to anyone else to still say this was wrong, right? You don't even have to like someone to say what's happening to them is wrong, right? That's wrong. That shouldn't happen to anyone, and no one should do it to anyone. Like that's just across the board. We can't cherry pick who we think it needs to happen to and who we think it doesn't need to happen to, because that's hypocritical. It shouldn't happen to anyone ever. No one should be doing it to anyone. That's the point. I don't even know why people would take time out of their fucking own lives. And I would never take time out of my own life to do this shit to people. It's so bonkers to me that anybody would, you know? That's the fucking crazy part. Like, I would never take the time out of my day to try to hurt someone else simply because I don't like them. That is just fucking weirdo behavior, no matter who does it. But my point is that no one should do it to anyone, ever. Even her. No one. It has no place in civilized society to be acting like a fucking animal or a clown in a clown show. It just doesn't. We can't say like, okay, well, we don't like this person, so it's okay to happen to that person, but we like these people, so it's not okay to happen to them. It's not okay to happen to anyone. And yeah, what you put in the universe will come back. So I tell people, like, put good karma out there. Don't put bad, karma. Like, and they do adhere to that dog whistle. We know that. Any dog whistle he gives about anyone, their name, where they live, where they're from, like, it's an automatic, Anyone can be a victim. You don't have to be the perfect person. There is no such thing. Someone said the other day it's a perfect victim. I don't remember which one of you said that, but there's no such thing as like a perfect victim, right? Like, just the bottom line is like, no one should have to deal with it, right? No one ever, No, and I mean, I respect the fact that you don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's your opinion and you're, totally entitled to it, my friend. For me, it's not white or black, and if I call out the shit that she did in the way that I did, then I also have to call out and recognize that this isn't okay. You know what I mean? That this is not all right. This is also not okay. Like the lengths that Aiden goes, no matter who it is, whether it was the Alberts, the McCabe's, her, or anyone else that he fucking harasses is ridiculous, It's just ridiculous. Yeah, and they are relentless. And that's the other part of it, is when you're on the receiving end, you start to realize how far these people will go. Like, there is no line they will not cross. They will lie. They will make shit up if they have to, right? They don't care. They will do whatever. Aiden has never been a victim. So that's my point. I think that's exactly my point, Panda, is there's no, like, picking and choosing doesn't do any good. What's wrong is wrong, no matter who it happened to. You know what I mean? She didn't seek him out in jail. They talked to each other before jail. Let's get clear here what the facts are and what the facts are not. She didn't seek him out in jail because back then I was going to the hearings and covering the hearings in the Reed case. She was already there before he went to jail. Already before he went to jail. So that's just simply not true. I know that that's his narrative that he wants to go by, but that I was there. That's simply not true. Meredith and Deanna were both there before he went to jail and were attending things for him before he went to jail. That's just simply not true.
Forward sooner because I wasn't aware of the aspect added in 2024 about coercive control, because a lot of this, there's only a few kind of threats of physical violence in here, and a lot of it is.
But there have been physical violence.
So not directly by him, but on his YouTube channel, in the chat that he controls because he owns it. There are several threats where somebody said, "I deserve to get taken out with a shovel." She's never been sucker punched, and it shows. How about a GoFundMe to put out a hit on her? She's never gotten the ass whooping she clearly deserves. And this is in his chat again that he controls.
Okay.
Like, that's the other thing,
When
is she's
you
not
were
lying,
together,
you know
did
what I
he ever
mean? Like,
threaten you? Or
she was part of the camp,
did
I
you
forgot about that, yeah.
grab you or hit you or anything like that when you were together?
I
No,
can't
he
go
never
back.
trapped me. He's
I will.
threatening to ruin my
I will.
life
I'll play it.
by doing what he's doing now, which
Okay.
is
Okay.
At this point, right.
And when was the last time that he mentioned something online about you? When was the last time?
this morning, every
Okay.
single day, every single show.
Well, the court would have to find that he broke the restraining order first. Yeah, he did. He did do that. Hi, Ellen. Every damn day. Not shocking. It's the same thing he did to pretty much anyone he's after in any capacity. Is constantly talk about it, you know.
No, you just said you're gonna do a show on me, so hang up your phone. Fine, go ahead and do it. I'll prepare. You know what? I will go to Karen then. I am going to Karen. Fine, go ahead. I don't have to talk to you. You don't have to. No, I haven't.
I wish we could, Rose. I don't know, Mo. Good point. Yes, Sarah. It's up as loud as possible. They're playing the recording of, and I'll go back and find it to play for you guys afterwards, but this is the phone call where she asked to be left alone. You know, he is a fucking stalker. But this is the well, that's the thing, is she waited quite a long time to say anything publicly, and I think it got to the point where she didn't have a choice at that point. You know, I wouldn't have either. You know, that's what I would have chose to do too. What else are you supposed to do? You know, at that point, right? You don't really have a point at like what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You can continue to deal with it, or you can attempt to let the court tell him that this behavior is not fucking okay. You know, you just can't. Bye, Jane. I absolutely can say that. What else was she supposed to do? What would anyone do in that situation? Even if she was a mean girl, again, put a fact aside if you don't like her, put a fact aside if you think she's a mean girl, right? What would you have done if it was you, is the point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you have done? You don't have to like someone, as I said, you don't have to like Meredith. You don't. You simply don't have to like her to know that this is still wrong, right? Like, bottom line. That's the bottom line. I mean, if you really believe that magically she got kicked out of the club and now she's mad, then you've not been paying attention. And you have no idea about anything that happened behind closed doors at all. And I don't know what to tell you at that point. I really don't know what to tell you at that point. So you don't think that she did walk away like a grown adult for months while she was tortured? And she's not the only one. This is the point, right? He did the same thing to Kara. And he's done the same thing to multiple other people, where they can stay silent publicly. Privately, he's calling them, screaming and yelling, threatening them, text messaging them, like doing all of these things, sending other people to tell them that they need to do this, this, and this, or he's going to do that, that, and that. Essentially, you shut the fuck up or I'm going to keep coming after you. I'm going to lie. I'm going to twist. I'm going to scheme because I need you to not tell people who I am. and the things that I did. Okay? Like, there is a lot more than what you clearly seem to know or seem to think that you know. That's for damn sure. Right. It's not, you don't have to like someone. That's not a reason to say that what's happening to them is okay. And yeah, he did brag on his show that he filed his RO as a tactic. He 100% did that. So whether you think she's a mean girl or not is completely irrelevant to whether what's happening to her is okay or not. If you can't put those two things aside, then you can't look at it objectively. If you can say, I just don't like her, so fuck it, who cares what she's going through? I don't care what happens, then you can't look at it objectively. You don't have to like her to know that what is happening and what did happen is just wrong. Simply wrong. Even her doing it to other people is wrong. That's the point, is you don't have to like her to know that what happened is wrong. Period. End of story. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Literally. Yeah, she did participate in online shenanigans. But again, you don't have to say like, okay, well, you know, she was with Aiden and he did some shitty things, or he, you know, said some shitty things and she didn't condone it or didn't say no to it or whatever. Like, this is not that black and white. Dealing with someone who's an abuser or coercive controller is not black and white like that, guys. You're literally walking on eggshells every single day to not set them off. I was with an abuser. I know exactly how it works. You don't have to like her. You don't have to like her, but you have to know that doing this to someone, no matter if it's her or it's you, is wrong. I would say the same thing if it was you, that it's wrong. I don't have to like someone to know that what is happening to them is wrong. It shouldn't happen to anyone. And if you think that she just is jealous, then you have not been paying attention and you really don't have any idea about what you're talking about, because this has literally nothing to do with jealousy. Not a single thing. Not a single thing to do with jealousy. So she was what? Supposed to shut up, go away, and just let him keep, you know, harassing her privately? That's what she should have done? I mean, anybody who says that clearly has never dealt with a harasser before. You know? You exactly. Thank you, Rose. You will do almost anything to not piss off that person so they fucking light up like a Hiroshima bomb. You know what I mean? Like, literally. That you will do anything. If you think this has to do with jealousy, then you have no fucking idea what has happened behind closed doors. None at all. This has nothing to do with jealousy. Never has and never will be about jealousy. If you ask to be left alone and someone tells you you don't need to be left alone, that's a fucking huge problem. That's a huge fucking problem. That is coercive control. That's exactly what coercive control is they will not leave you alone. They will not let you just move on and live your life. They have to cause a fucking problem and they have to hurt you, no matter how they have to do it. If that means lying, cool. If it means fucking getting you fired, trying to take your kid, those are the two main things they do. That's why coercive control was added under abuse.
Okay, then why are you still bothering me? You're gonna ruin my life. Great. You just said you do. You just said you're not fair. Why? So why are you? I don't want to talk to you. I don't feel well. I just want to be left alone. I only tried to go. I only tried to do it yesterday. You said it's free from the other.
No, Meredith O'Neill is the vice president at State Street, just to be very clear. And State Street. No, her kid is going into freshman year at Milton High School. So that
can't hear this either, and it's all the way up.
Every
Okay.
single day, every single show.
Sorry, I backed it up a little bit. My bad. I was trying to turn it up, but already all the way up.
No, Meredith O'Neill is the vice president at State Street, just to be very clear. And State Street. No, our kid is going into freshman year at Milton High School. So that's a like that. Like it was said, and that happened. That was a real thing. And here's like another came out. So it's exactly like I know. It's so on. But it's probably the same one. What did I know?
Okay.
Thank you.
He knows where you reside?
I'm sorry, what?
He knows where you live?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Do you want him to also stay away from your, has he, okay. You're currently unemployed, correct?
Yeah,
Is
this
there a
was last-
situation?
this is
Are you going to
February.
school?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you going to school?
No, I'm not in school.
Okay.
What would she go to school for? She already has a TPA license. What the fuck? Like, no. What a weird question.
And address that we have for him, is there an apartment or is that a home?
It's a home.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, what will be the 10 or 14 days?
I feel like he was raised by wolves.
It's the 7, correct? Judy, what you said?
It is triggering to even fucking listen to it. It's just triggering. Anybody who's been in an abusive relationship knows how triggering this is. Even Rose recognized it was triggering me.
I am issuing the temporary order. So I'm ordering him not to abuse you, not to contact you, to stay 100 yards away from you,
Thank you.
stay away from your apartment and also the building. Are you concerned in terms of, does he own guns or anything like that?
No, he doesn't.
Okay,
Not that I know of.
okay. I'm just gonna put it anyways. I'm also, so if he has an FID card or anything, he's supposed to bring it to the police station, or any guns. Also, I'm ordering him to refrain from coercive control. I'm sorry you're going through this. There's definitely a pattern of harassment. It's willful, malicious, truthfully vicious. You went to the police, are they doing anything?
They said to do an order, and a lot of it, I mean, he's careful too, because he says that some of it's free speech, and
No, I understand,
it's
I understand, but I'm seeing videos where he's sharing personal messages, where he's encouraging some people to bully you.
Yep.
I mean, some of it is, it's
Not
very
free
upsetting to me. I'm so very sorry.
Oof.
I
Judge,
will allow the motion, the ex parte motion to, what is it that you,
to impound the.
I'm sorry?
To impound the,
Yes, the impoundment, I'm gonna allow it.
he's had orders on him before, and he does a show about it and reads it, and
No, I understand. I will allow it. Motion to impound. It'll be without prejudice because I don't know if he's gonna come here with an attorney.
yeah, so there's a hearing, which will obviously be public, but.
They don't change, no. Yeah, he is
So
the common
the-
denominator.
I'm sorry? So, right, why don't we do it on to the hearing date?
Yeah,
And,
maybe wanted to add it to the places. That's probably right. I didn't even think of that. It is triggering. It is.
Yeah,
Well,
I
thank you,
understand that there's
standing.
some free speech here, but I think
Some of it is not.
to me, there is also a pattern here
Yep.
that goes a little bit beyond that.
The repeated even him himself contacting my employer. He made 2 separate Twitter accounts that were impersonating me. There's like thousands of posts he made contacting them, tagging them, which that's contact is tagging their social media. That's what I got called for by HR.
Okay, well,
So it's not even just other people, it's him.
okay, well, that's what I can do for today. And obviously if after this order and he's served, if, just let the police know if he tries to contact you again or if he continues the behavior. Okay,
Thank you very much.
There, you get a copy of the order.
Okay, and it'll say when the hearing is too.
it'll be April 7th at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Is it, sorry, the
Yes,
7th?
The 7th.
the 7th. And I suggest that you bring to the hearing the audio. I didn't keep it. I
Yep,
don't want it to get lost.
I'll bring it, yeah.
And whatever you think it's important, just make sure that the judge can read it, because some of it is,
Okay,
you
I'll
make a
get
copy,
better.
so it's very small.
I'll get better.
Not everything, but I think some of it that you want to point out. Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Oh, he's so deplorable. So fucking deplorable. Thank you, Standing. I appreciate you. He is a malignant narcissist. I'm also a book junkie. I love to read. Love to read. Yeah, well, she also knows that she's not going to be the judge that hears it further. This was just the emergency ex parte order. And to be clear here, I was never going to play this. I didn't request it for a reason. I was very clear ahead of time that I was not going to play this. I respect the fact that it should have been private, but that if Aiden or any of his idiot minions put this out there, that I would absolutely not allow them to run with a false fucking narrative of it. And at that point, I would play it. And so that point is now. They've now put it out there. I'm sure they'll run with a false narrative, but we all heard the judge. You heard it in with your own ears. And he loves to tell his audience that they didn't just hear what they heard or they didn't see what they just saw. We all heard it with our own ears. The judge is concerned. There's a pattern of behavior. And the pattern of behavior isn't just her. That's the thing, right? I have been with an abuser. I know what it's like to be under the thumb of somebody who's using coercive control to control you, even when you're in the relationship. It doesn't just happen when you're out of the relationship. It's while you're in it. You're walking on eggshells. You're doing everything you can to hold your breath and walk on eggshells so that they don't blow up and do something irrational and crazy to hurt you, because that's what they do. Even if it's not physical abuse, they will do something to hurt you in any way, shape, or form, whether that's emotionally, mentally, physically, or trying to control you in ways of who you talk to, what job you have, your children. They take the things that are closest and most important to you and try to destroy them to control you with them. That is straight out of the playbook of a narcissist, period. No ifs, ands, or fucking buts about it. I lived it. I absolutely lived it. I know exactly what that's like. And so I can understand that people might not love Meredith, but this false narrative of, oh, it's just jealousy or she's just some unhinged ex-girlfriend, that's just simply not true. Simply not true. That's not what this was about. It's not where it started. Where it started wasn't in the public sphere. He was literally, and I mean torturing her behind closed doors long before any of this became public. I knew it. I told you people at the time it was happening. I knew it was happening. Like, we can go back and look at the things that I said when I said them, right? The judge, I don't know, that's a good, Bear Den, he's done things like this before because in his narcissistic mind, this sounds good for him, right? This is a way to put this out to ring the incitement bell. Ring the incitement bell for his clan. Here, guys, I'm putting out this ex parte. This is the ex parte hearing where she got the restraining order. Attack, attack, attack. That's what this is for. Ultimately, it makes him look like a fool and a buffoon because she played 2 audios, one of which we've all heard that's been on Twitter a million times before. And that's of her asking to be left alone and him saying, yeah, that's not an option. Not leaving you alone. That's not an option. The way that he speaks to her in that specific recording is so disturbing, but I have heard it before. He did the same thing to Kara. He told Kara that if she didn't get on Twitter and disparage me and other people he didn't like and say things about us that weren't true, that he was going to keep attacking her and coming after her. And she begs and pleads to be left alone. And when she tells him, no, I'm not going to do that. I am not going to do what you want. I'm not going to go and attack Elise. She helped me out of a domestic violence relationship. She's been nothing but a good friend. For Christ's sakes, I just went on vacation with her that last summer. Like, I'm not going to do that to my friend who's been nothing but a friend to me. Then he decides he's going to tell her he's going to go bonkers, and then she begs to be left alone. What he doesn't play, what he doesn't show to the public is where he tells her to do that or else, and where she says no, and the reasons why. What he plays is the part from where she begs to be left alone on. Who the fuck does that? Who does that? If I'm Meredith, I'm bringing that with me too, because it just proves this is a pattern of behavior of women being asked to be left alone and him not doing it at all. It is a pattern, and not just her, but for other people. I have watched him do this to far too many people. You don't have to like whoever it is that is dealing with him. It doesn't mean that they're not a victim of the behavior. You don't have to like the things that they did in the past. You don't have to love the things they did in the past, but you have to recognize that it is not okay. If you think this is about jealousy, you haven't been paying attention. If you think this is just, oh, since a girlfriend's mad, he broke up with her, then you haven't been paying attention and you have no idea what was going on that entire time and you have no idea who the fuck Aiden is. None at all. Just got a $5 donation on Venmo. I'm not gonna read your real name, darling, but thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. I think I just got another one though. Aww. I love you, New Hampshire dude. New Hampshire dude sends $30 and says, here's a bit to support the cause. Fuck Barry J. Lewis. Fuck Barry J. Lewis and his harassment of women as well. And that's the point, is a lot of these people, you know, like harassing women, and then when, you know, they're shown to the world what they do, they go, I'm going to file an injunction. Yeah, you do that. It's not a federal lawsuit. You can't file an injunction on free speech and people's opinions of you. That's not how it works. Now, on the other hand, if I started calling you and you said, leave me alone, and I said, no, that's not an option. Okay, well, then you could file a RO or an HBO, but me just commenting on your fucking horrible abuse of women and my opinion of the way that you treat women and harass women is not injunctionable, Barry. Sorry to tell you, bud. Like, I mean, the fact that these people are willing to like do this behavior and then hide behind everybody being like, you said, you talked about the things that I did, I'm going to get an injunction on you. You do that, bud. You go right ahead and do that. Let me know when the federal lawsuit hits the docket, bud. Okay? Because you can't get an injunction on a person for their fucking opinions on your shit behavior. That's not how it works. But cool. Cool. You just keep saying that. Bingo, Natalie. He rage baits. Rage baits these fucking people into doing more harassment. Yeah, so this, no, not the same judge for Monday. It'll be a different judge. It wouldn't be the same judge. That's why that judge said, make sure you bring everything with you, everything that you need to have, because it's going to be a different judge. It'll look all of, and she didn't keep it. So you got to bring everything again, basically, and then whatever else you need. This is just the shit. You know what I mean? Like this, him putting this out there doesn't help him any, because it just goes to show that even the judge saw the pattern, you know? Oh, you know what? The judge's voice is kind of soothing, like Nina's voice, right? A little bit soothing, like Nina's voice, very soft, right? I thought that a little bit in my head, and I was like, oh, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's funny you say that, because it is very, like, soft, soothing, like Nina's voice. His dynamic with his siblings are, he gets upset during, like, holidays because they don't ask him about his job, his work. All of them talk about their jobs and their work. He used to get upset with his parents because they wouldn't ask about his job and work, and that is because his whole family is embarrassed. They're ashamed. They want nothing to do with his Turtle Boy brand, what he does in it. They are not happy about it. They don't condone it. And so he's mad that they don't give him the pats on the back and the accolades he thinks he deserves from his family because they don't condone his behavior. It seems to me that all of the other siblings have normal, decent jobs, went to college, pay decent money, have families. He's the only one that didn't, and he's the oldest of all of the siblings. But I agree with Sarah. He needs to be put away. He's a fucking crazy lunatic. It's a different judge. Yeah, he apparently wants to go to jail. I mean, I don't know why you would post something like this, knowing that like it's a bad idea, but I do love this judge. I love that she recognized it right away and that she said she was disturbed. She was disturbed by it. Exactly, Shannon. Patterns don't lie. And his well-established patterns don't lie. The fact that some of these people his followers don't seem to see his well-established patterns, they don't even realize, like, one of them is next. It's that simple. You breathe the wrong way and you're going to be next. That's it. You know the wrong thing about what he did or who he said it to, and that you could one day maybe tell that to the world, even if you had no intention on doing it. You're next. You're next. You know? He would, LTG. Unfortunately, he would. That's what he does. He brags about getting people fucking fired. You know? Yeah, see, but that's not a thing, though. He doesn't have clips and messages of her harassing him. What he has is clips and messages of her responding to his constant, and I mean constant, threats and harassment. That's what he has. And what he does is he cherry picks out the pieces that he thinks his audience will love and they'll believe his narrative, and he leaves the rest out. So he leaves out what's in between. He leaves out what's above and below so that you guys don't get the full context of what he's saying and what's happening. What he has is her responding to his months and months of threats and harassment behind the scenes. It's not her harassing him. It's her saying, I am fucking sick of this. Fine, release shit. Then I'll release the full amount of it. Because just as I know, she would know that he uses cherry-picked pieces. That's what he does to try to get people to believe him. So the only thing that she can do at that point is say, okay, cool, you're going to release your cherry-picked pieces, and I'm going to put the fucking full thing out there so everybody can see the full truth, Aiden. Not your cherry-picked fucking truth that you love to play is real when it's not. Like, we're going to put the entirety of it out there. If you want to play that game, then I'm not going to play that you're allowed to fucking sit there and lie about me and cherry pick shit. I'm just going to put the whole thing out and people will know what the fuck happened. See, you have to actually know what's happening behind closed doors before you know what's going on. And that's half the problem we have here is most people have no fucking actual idea what actually happened behind closed doors. They make assumptions based off what a sewer turtle said. See, the problem with that is he's a fucking bold-faced liar. A liar. That's all he does. Diarrhea of the mouth. Okay? Diarrhea of the fucking mouth. She's responding to his constant threats. Constant. Of not just leaving her alone. If she had just been left alone, he had went on with his life, they would have went their separate ways, and that would have been that. Right? That would have been that. He does not know how to do that. He is still saying Leah's name almost 8 years later. He is still periodically throughout time contacting Kara and trying to harass her when she has nothing to do with him. She has a life. She has a fucking life. You know? She has a goddamn life. It pisses me off because so many people have no real understanding of what the fuck is happening behind closed doors. They have none. Zero. At all. None at all. Not even a little bit. It is. All of it's fucking disturbing. It shouldn't happen to anyone. I don't care who it is. No one. It shouldn't happen to Meredith. It shouldn't have happened to the Alberts, the McCabe's. It shouldn't happen to Nan. It shouldn't happen to anyone. These unhinged lunatics that think it's okay to do these things to people, right? And then there's no consequences. That's not the way it works. Free speech has limits, guys. You can't run into a movie theater and scream fire when there is none. Now, I literally had this argument, and this is how stupid some of his followers are. I actually had some of these people comment on my video the last time I said that and say, yes, you can. You can go into a movie theater and scream fire when there's no fire. No, you can't. That's well-established law from the Supreme Court that you absolutely can't because it's not free speech. It causes chaos and people can get hurt when nothing was happening. There was no fire. You don't get to go into a crowded movie theater and scream fire so that people are running around, probably trampling each other. No, that's not free speech. Same applies here. It is not free speech to use dog whistles to get your mob to incite harassment against someone you don't like. That is not free speech. It certainly isn't free speech to then try and intimidate the witness, which is Jason, right? And go after him because you know he's a witness. You know what he knows, Aiden. You know what he knows, Aiden. You know exactly what he can prove and what he has. And if I were you, I'd be shitting my pants if I were you, Aiden. I really would. I would be shitting my fucking pants if I were you, knowing what Jason had. Just saying. You know? Just fucking saying. Well, in order for him to be cuffed, they have to find that he broke the order, right? First, because it has to be criminal first. So, yeah, not soon enough is right, Beach. I agree with you. Yes, cognitive dissonance. That's exactly right. And you're right. The judge does make a good point. It's beyond free speech. You know what I'm saying? Like, beyond. Money is a way to abuse people. Yep. Clothes even. My abuser used to literally smell my clothes when I took them off. That's how fucking insane, okay? Smell my clothes to see if it smelled like anyone else. That is fucking bonkers, okay? That is some seriously deranged shit, all right? That, like, don't put it past these people to do some very bonkers things, all right? It's exactly right. He doesn't care. As long, he's allowed to do whatever he wants, didn't you know, Isle? He can do whatever he wants. And then if anybody else does it, you know. It's just insane to me. It's insane to me. Well, see, that's the thing is there are certain categories, but there's also things that the court has found are not free speech. And it doesn't just fall under fighting words or true threats or false advertising or defamatory speech or child pornography or obscenity. Like unprotected speech is also things like yelling fire in a crowded theater when there is none, right? That could cause people to trample each other to get out, and there was no fire. You just wanted to do a ha-ha, right? And the Supreme Court has made that very clear. You know, his method of operation is fully known. I think it was fully understood a while ago, but people weren't talking about it, and that's part of the problem. You know, yeah, you try to become the smallest so that you don't trigger him to fucking act out, and that applies to him as well. You know, but if you don't get to tell me, believe me, I get it. It's very triggering to deal with someone like this. If you've ever dealt with him, then you or someone like him, you would know. The other clip he posted, yeah, let me see. Jason needs to. I think he keeps it there because it pisses people off. To be honest, I think I saw him say that the other day, that it just like triggers people so bad that he was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna leave it there." I guess it's probably because it pisses off the turtle people. You know? Yeah, I'll look for it. Coin dead 1 second. Hold on. You mean the down. Hold on a second. Short technically, no. Where is it? Yeah, he won't stop until he is stopped. That's the truth. That is literally the truth of the fucking matter. Is he's not going to stop till he is stopped. You know. Yeah, it does. It sounds good to him. In his mind, it sounded good to post this. You know. Listen, me too. I can't wait for that to happen. You know, 2-minute clip from 35 minutes ago. I saw that one when I first clicked on this, right? But now I don't see it. An hour ago. Oh, this is him. Oh, I mean, this one. This is his like. He's like trying to.
Did he ever threaten you, or did you grab you or hit you or anything like that when you were together?
No, he never grabbed me. He just threatened to ruin my life by doing what he's doing now. Which
Okay.
is
So like he puts this to try to make a false narrative, right? Which, by the way, I'm going to download. Thanks, Aiden. Appreciate that. Use that as evidence. He does this to try to create a false narrative. In this moment, Meredith had no choice, right? What was she going to do? Get him to stop and get him to leave you alone is to scare him a little, right? To be like, I'm just going to fucking say you hit me. I will tell you, having an abuser, sometimes you got to fucking figure your way out of this shit, bro, and you got to do it on the fly. That is something that I think was smart. I don't know about his family dynamic. Cool. You keep thinking that. You keep thinking that. You go right ahead and think that, sweetheart. You go right ahead. I think you're in the wrong place, darling. I think you're in the wrong place. If you really believe that, then I feel sorry for you. I honestly hope that you make it out of the cult soon. Okay? I hope you make it out. You have no idea what I know and I don't know. And see, that's your problem. People like you thinking that they know what I know and what I don't know. I can do nothing but laugh at shit like that. So his false narrative here is to be like, well, she said I hit her. She said that to try to get me in trouble. Yeah, see, the problem with that is she didn't go to the cops. She didn't file a report. She never said to anyone else that he hit her. She said that in the moment to get him to stop, to leave her alone, to go away, to get out of her fucking hallway with her neighbors there and acting a fool and causing a scene, like either leave and take a fucking Uber or go to sleep on the couch. One or the fucking other, dude. But stop this shit. Stop this shit. Okay? Imagine dealing with this psycho for hours like this, all right? Sometimes you got to make a fucking choice, dude. And in that moment, I probably would have made the same goddamn choice. The same choice. So he puts this clip together as some sort of false narrative. So I'm not going to play his part of his false narrative.
You were together. Did he ever threaten you?
So what, he plays
Or
it twice?
Did you grab you or hit you or anything like that?
So of course she says no. He just threatens to ruin my life. So he plays the clip again, like a fucking buffoon.
Or
So he does
did
it
you
again.
grab you or hit you? Or
So what, he just repeats it over and over?
No, he never grabbed me.
He does. So he just plays the clip over and over to try to create a false narrative
grab
that
you
he
or hit you or anything like
will
that
believe
when you
that
were together?
was out
No,
to
he
get
never
him this
grabbed
whole
me.
time. Because she
I
said
found her
that in the moment of all of this happening in her hallway with her neighbors downstairs, with him acting an absolute fucking fool. You know? That's exactly why he put that second clip. It's a narrative. It's a way to push a false narrative, which I'm not going to allow him to do, because anybody in this position that she was in would have known, like, you have to deal with it. You can't just ignore it. You got to deal with it. He's in your hallway. He's making fucking noise. He's screaming and yelling. He's saying things that aren't fucking true. He's clearly unhinged, right? So you need to get him to either leave or lay down and fucking stop, at least for now, right? She did what she had to do, and I would have done the fucking same thing to get him to stop. The only way to get him to stop is to scare him with jail. And even then, when it's public, he pretends like he doesn't care. Privately, he very much cares, and he is very much afraid of jail. Let's make that abundantly clear. I agree. So, yeah, exactly. He's an award-winning blogger. That's the funniest joke I've ever heard in my life. You know, the funniest fucking joke. Well, that's the other thing. God forbid he had a 9 to 5. And I wouldn't say it isn't a real job, because I don't want to say that YouTube isn't a real job. I know how much work I put in. I know, what I do and what I don't do. And so I'm never going to disparage that this is a job. It might not be a 9 to 5, but it's a fucking job if you're doing it correctly, at least. But you're right. There is no boss to call to fire him, or he would be fired, as he was walked out. Let's remember that he was walked out by the police out of a school from being a teacher, never to be a teacher again. And you're right. He has no conscience to put brakes on his behavior. And I don't think he ever will. I don't think he ever fucking will. And that's part of the problem with him, is he never fucking will, The date, I don't know what the date is, but that was her ex parte hearing to get the original order. Yeah, he made it public. That's the only reason why I'm even going over it, is because he made it public. He did, right? He literally, and you know what, Bear Den? He's so unaware of himself, and he's not a victim. He'll never be a victim. He's a fake victim. It's what he wanted to call other people. But realistically, it's who he was. He's a perpetual fake victim. All right. He did write a book. I have the book on his own sadistic patterns. And the funny part about it is he didn't even realize he was outing himself when he wrote it. He thought it sounded so good when he was writing it. He thought it made him look amazing. Remember that. That's how abusers work, is their perception of themselves is grandiose. That's how it works for them. It's like the third real abuser's app. Yeah, for his own fucking behavior, from his own goddamn behavior. Oh, from A to B, thank you so much. From A to B sends $20 and says, just because. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That was so nice. Well, that's the thing. Narratives are just that. Narratives. And if you fall for them, that's on you. Oh, hold on. We got something here. Of course he's going to call, because that's the only thing he can do at this point, is say everyone else is a liar except him. right? Like, I mean, that's all he ever does is say, yeah, inciting harassment is also not free speech. So if you're inciting other people to harass someone else, it's not free speech, you know? The poor cat. And it is. It's about power and control. That's what narcissists do, you know? It is absolutely similar. I've pointed this out several times that this is about very similar to what happened with Lindsay. And again, you don't have to like Lindsay. You don't have to like anything that she did, said. You don't have to like her. You don't have to like anything. But you do have to understand that it is extremely similar to what happened in that scenario and what he did in that scenario to shit all over her and her life just to try to say she was lying. But in reality, there were a lot of things that she told the world that were not lies about him and the things that he was doing. And no one listened. No one wanted to believe her because, well, Aiden said so, right? This is the same scenario, just different person and different life experiences, right? They're two very different people, different lives, you know, and so it's like you have to understand that it is a pattern, right? He did this to her. He did this to Leah. If you go back over 8 years, this is the shit he did to Leah. The same shit. DCF, he called on her partners at the time, son, because Leah doesn't have kids, right? Got her fired from her job, harassed her into oblivion, incited his mob, made fake accounts of her, made a fake account of like revenge porn, essentially. Denied that fake account for years until the state police found it in his phone. Of running the account. He said that she made it of herself, which is so funny because that's the exact same thing he said about Lindsay, about the account that he made about Lindsay and her daughter, is that, oh, she must have made it about herself. Funny enough, he did make that account as well. So he'll make these accounts and then pretend that it's them and say, oh, they made it about themselves. They're so crazy. Like, same pattern, once again, doing the same things over and over. So Leah, Kara, look at all the times that he recorded his ex-wife. You have no doubt in my mind, in my opinion, that he threatened his ex-wife, he gaslighted his ex-wife, he played fucking games in the way that he does with every fucking person surrounding him. And the best part of any of the recordings that I've ever heard is his ex-wife saying, Aiden, you are everything that everyone says you are. Everything. I'm nothing everyone says I am. And his ex-wife, Julie, says, you are everything that everyone says you are, Aiden. Everything. You know? And you are 100% right, Freeze. It's exactly similar, okay? And again, you don't have to like the person or the people in it to recognize still wrong, pattern of behavior, he's a shitbag, right? That's right, defamation is not covered. It is about power and control, you know? Threats, true threats and fighting words, hate speech is not protected, harassment's not protected, you know? Appreciate you, my friend. I read that one. I got another one to read in a second. I just want to kind of catch up on my comments real quick. Becoming, girl, listen, he's been unhinged. He's been unhinged for quite a long time. It's just never been to the point where so many people have acknowledged and talked about it and understood that this is what has happened. A lot of survivors can see right through his behavior, although some of his minions are like, well, I'm a survivor and I don't see that. And it's like, if you're not seeing that, it's you're ignoring it on purpose. And that's part of the brainwashing, is you're ignoring it on purpose. You're making excuses for it. And what they find is what they're doing is making excuses for his behavior, finding a reason in the same way that he does to say, well, he did this because of this, or he did this because of that. No. He did this of his own volition. He could have just left her alone in the same way that he could have just left Leah or Lindsay or Kara alone. Why, years later, is he monitoring who Kara talks to on Twitter? Why in that phone call, in the part that he doesn't play for the world, did he tell her the exact time and date that she commented on my Twitter? Now, mind you, she's my friend, okay? It's my friend. We literally went on vacation last year together. She came with me and my other friends on vacation, right, with her significant other. Like, this is my friend who I helped out of a very serious domestic violence relationship. So imagine telling her that she's got to get online and say shitty things about me because he doesn't like me, or else he's going to keep coming after her years after that relationship ended. Years. And here he is, threatening and harassing her, recording phone calls, demanding that she do X, Y, or Z and else. And for her, she's a lover, not a fighter. She's not someone who often pushes back. She's very soft spoken, very like, she's not one of those people who like is like me, right? She's very just like wants to appease anyone, or maybe if I tell him what he wants to hear, he'll leave me alone. She's tried that many times in the past. Obviously that didn't work. And I've told her for a long time, like, you can't rationalize with someone who's as unhinged as him. No matter what you do or say, he's going to try to use it against you later on. So your best bet is to never, ever answer him ever again. And if you can, because what happens is he'll call from fake numbers or call from, blocked numbers, and you end up picking it up. And here he is screaming and yelling at you, telling you you're going to do X, Y, and Z, or he's going to do a story on you. And it doesn't matter if it's true because people are going to believe him anyway. That is how he gets people to do what he wants, is by threatening them into submission. Innocent people don't do that. That's called blackmail, folks. Innocent people have no reason to do that. I certainly have never done that to anyone. I have certainly never done that to anyone. Well, the next one for Donna is in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from yesterday. And then I got to look, I have it written down when the one from Lindsay from New Jersey's is, but the ones from New Jersey at least are in the next 3 weeks, both of them. So they're happening. They're friggin' happening. Karma does not like narcissists. I 100% freaking agree with you. Girl, listen, you celebrate on that cruise if it happens when you're there. When you're there, if it happens, don't worry. I'll make sure that I let you know. Don't you worry. Yes, this RO specifically actually includes not talking about her, harassing her, inciting harassment on social media. It actually has it right in the order, but of course he can't help himself. And I said exactly like that he will not be able to help himself. I agree with you, Winter Sky. Him posting all this is giving further credibility to the motion that her lawyer filed yesterday, 100%. Yeah, so I talked about that earlier in the stream. You might not have been here, but her lawyer is trying to make the whole hearing private, a closed hearing, because of the way that he brings these minions and the way that they behave in the court. Yeah, he can't help himself. He'll never be able to help himself. Well, I knew right away that he would shoot himself in the foot on that. So I do have a donation I would like to read. It is a whopper. And I am extremely grateful to this person. It's very kind of you. So this one is for $250, very large donation, which I very well appreciate, from Anonymous, and I'm gonna tell you what it says. It says, Aiden is a narcissist, a sadist, a coercive controller, and an insecure criminal. I fucking agree whole goddamn heartedly, and I appreciate you very much. My channel is, it's small, right? Like, I get by on the kindness of all of you, and 0 donations means no money towards the channel, no money towards covering the costs, and then I make whatever comes after covering the costs. And so I appreciate you guys who are always here, even if you can't donate, and you're always here, and you're always hitting the like button, and you're subscribed, or you're just a member. I appreciate you, right? I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for my community. I am grateful that we get to have a lot of different conversations about a lot of different things, and that all of you come together in a way that I've not seen in other channels. And I really am proud of the way that y'all do that, and the way that you come together for each other and have each other's backs, no matter what, even if you don't agree on something. And I love that. I absolutely adore and love that about my channel. And I hope we see more of that, obviously, in the future. So I appreciate all of you. I just had to stop and say that because, that was a very large and generous donation, and it means a lot to me. All of them mean a lot to me, no matter if it's just a like button, a $20, a $5, like, it all adds up and it all means something. And I appreciate all of you. Did y'all cover TV accusing Meredith sending documents to Lana? So that's why he posted. So I will tell you that she did not send any documents to Lana. They were publicly filed. Even if it was just for a minute, they were publicly filed. And so she got them that way. Well, that's the other thing, is he uses third parties. And so he is very immature and he is out of control. YDE's right. He does use third parties. And that's part of why today's live stream is sort of going over, like, in these hearings, when you get an RO, it literally will say no third party contact, no third party contact. You cannot use another party to harass, intimidate, or go after someone, to quiet them, right? And this is something that he loves to do, is use a third party. If I'm Aiden, I am very worried about what Jason testifies to and what he has. Because if you remember, Jason was a supporter of Aiden's for quite a while. But once you step outside of the box and outside of his world, and you see the things that he does, you cannot unsee it anymore. Once the brainwashing has subsided and you've stepped outside and he's doing it to someone you know, someone you care about, you start to realize that everyone who's been warning you weren't just warning you because they were trolls or obsessed with him in the way that he claims. It's because he's a bad fucking person. And we're ringing the alarm bells to hope and pray that anyone will realize that we are telling you so that you don't become the next victim. I don't give a shit if you take your entire bank account and dump it into his. That's your money. You can do whatever you want. You can buy every single item on his fucking wish list if you want. He loves to say that everyone's jealous about that. Funny enough, I don't check his wish list and see what was bought and not bought. Funny enough, he checks mine to see what was bought and what wasn't bought. Isn't that amazing? He checks my streams, watches every stream to see how many donations I get and what it adds up to, right? Funny, because I don't do that, because I could care less, right? His fucking supporters can dump all the money in the world into his channel. It's their money they're losing, ultimately. Because what I hear later on from people is, shit, I wish we had listened, and now I wish I could get a fucking refund because I thought I was supporting something different, and that is not what I was supporting. I was not supporting someone that was doing these things behind closed doors and then lying and making it look like everyone else is the bad person when in fact he was, right? And so there are a lot of fucking people that realize too late that they wasted money sort of helping him do what he's been doing for quite some time, and they feel bad about it, right? They feel ashamed about it. They feel like, shit, like, what was I thinking? What was I doing? And I tell them all the same thing. I'm like, brainwashing can happen to anyone, all right? Coercive control and a way to controlling people, that can happen to fucking anyone. It's what you do now, right now. If what you do now is you speak up and say, I should have known better and I didn't, but now I do, and now I'm going to speak out, then that's the right thing to do, is to say, this is not okay. You know what I mean? Like, this is not fucking okay. This shit that he does is not okay. Now, there are reasons that some still don't, right? There are valid reasons why some still don't and can't, right? And if you have one of those valid reasons, I totally understand why you can't and won't. But I will never forget what it felt like to have so many people contacting me privately and saying, he said this about you, but I know that's a lie because I was there. He said this about you, but I know that's a fucking lie because I know you. Like, he said this about you, but we were all there, but at least we can't say anything. Because if we say something publicly, he's going to come after us and our families. I will never forget what it was like to get message after message, DM, email, phone call, text message of these so many people being like, we love you. We know he's a fucking liar because we were there for that and that and that. And we know that that's not true. But we can't say anything because he'll just come for us. I swore in that fucking moment that I would not be that person. And I would not be that person that said, oh, he's going to come for me. Bring it the fuck on, dude. All right. Yeah, the more people donate my channel, I get so mad. That $250 is going to piss him the fuck off. Whatever, dude, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Most people don't after they realize who he is. But then there are a small subset of people that run back to him. And a lot of the time what I find is the ones that run back to him because they think it's easier to run back in his corner and, rah-rah, sis, boom, bah for him than it is for him to keep attacking them. And so they think that it'll stop. The problem is it will stop for a while, But then when you breathe the wrong way or do something he doesn't like or say something he doesn't like, you will just be another target. And everything you've said to him in between that, he will use as a weapon. So you're not doing yourself any good. You're not doing yourself any fucking good whatsoever to run back to someone who's going to continue to use and abuse you. You're just not. It's unfortunate, but that's the truth. It's the God's honest truth. And I wish more fucking people realized it. And I can say that until the cows come home, right? But people realizing it is a whole nother thing. And I mean, at least now people are realizing, like, this is who he is. This is what he does. And it's not going to just magically stop. The key to stopping it is stepping forward. If he's done this to you, step forward. Even if it's not publicly, privately step forward. Tell the court what you know. Tell the judge what you know. Tell someone. Give someone the evidence. Show someone what you know. Because the more people, the bigger the pattern. And it's already a big enough pattern for the court to know, that this is not just something he's done to one person. It's not just a one-off. It's something he's done many times, faking evidence, falsifying evidence, cherry-picking evidence. These are things he does. I have no doubt in my mind he's going to cherry-pick things in this thing with Meredith and try to get Bradel to give a narrative on what it is. The problem with that is, well, Meredith's going to be able to show that that's not what it is. And Jason is going to be able to testify to all of the things Aiden doesn't want him to testify to. Never mind testifying to all of the things that Jason probably has to show in evidence of the things that Aiden did and said are probably going to be quite a fucking doozy, right? And so I do hope that they close the hearing. It would be beneficial to me if they opened the hearing and I streamed it. Even if I went, I had no intention on streaming it. Like outside the courthouse, inside the courthouse, could talk about it after, sure. But that is something that is traumatizing enough that it should remain private. And because he uses people as minions to go after people, it's just not something that needs to be, public and everywhere, right? I have no doubt that after the hearing he'll talk about it, and I'm not going to allow him or Jess to give their false narratives about it. I'm going to give what actually happened, right? Now, in this last hearing, in New Jersey, the judge said no. Federal said, oh, we need to dismiss this. And the judge said no. So they reconvened for that one in 2 weeks. Then in the next 3 weeks, I think, is the other Lindsay from New Jersey, is her case there. So yeah, Jason was supposed to testify already on Tuesday, but because they moved it to Monday, then he'll testify Monday. But I do hope that they close the hearing, because that means that only the parties are there and the witness, right? Because otherwise, then he just uses it, publicly obtains it, plays it like he does here to try to push his false narrative out. Like, that's what he fucking does. Like, there's same patterns of behavior over and over. Nothing is ever going to change about that, unfortunately. It's who he is, it's what he does, and it's sad. It's really fucking sad, What are the chances? I think there's probably a pretty good chance that the judge closes the hearing, and for 2 reasons. One of which being a lady who was caught in the court taking pictures. All Meredith's attorney has to do is point to the fact that, well, Erica has recorded them illegally for Aiden. Other people have taken pictures when they've been told a million times not to. They damn well know fucking better. And Tom outside the court, basically harassing her attorney. Those are 2 reasons to close it up, because they cannot behave in a courtroom or outside of a courtroom. And so if I'm the judge, then yes, I'm going to err on the side of caution, and I'm probably going to close it. Yeah, the circus, exactly. No judge wants a fucking circus near their courtroom, Well, see, there's a lot of things that happen behind closed doors, Justice, that people don't know about until it's time. Let's just put it that way, right? And so there are quite a lot of people who help in different areas when it comes to stuff like that. Being available to testify if needed, being witnesses if they're needed, and being more than willing to show anything that they need to show his patterns of behavior and what he does to other people. So with that being said, this is why I always say, like, beyond what I can give you publicly, always know that there are things that are happening that I just can't talk about, and for good reason. You never want to, first of all, it's never smart to tell the opposite side what you're going to do, right? That's never smart. You never want to do that. I'm only giving what's publicly known right now, right? There are plenty of private things that don't need to be out there at this moment. But just know that privately, the wheels are turning, right? I mean, he's not going to wriggle his way out of this one. Unfortunately, his minions are stupid enough at this point to say, oh, Aiden told me I could. He gave me the go-ahead. I got the green light, which is, again, patterns. This is not the first time he's done any of this. It's not even the second. It's not even the third. It's not even the fourth. Okay, we're well beyond that at this point. The man can't get out of his own way. He can't stop hurting people because he's got to hide his own bad behavior. The problem that he's about to find out is Purple's whole like, oh, Meredith, you might want to rethink what you're doing. Oh, Meredith, you might want to not do this or not do that. He's going to find out fairly quickly that Aiden lied to him, that Aiden wasn't being honest with him, wasn't telling him the truth. And Meredith didn't have to lie. All she had to do was show the truth. That's it. Because the truth doesn't change, right? Aiden's story changes a little bit every time, but the truth, it doesn't change. It stays the same. It stays the same. All she had to do was show the truth. That's it. All she had to do. Her lawyer's not a witness, dude. He's such an idiot. See, that's my problem is him saying that does not make it true. And yet his minions will repeat that like parrots. They'll run around the internet and go, oh my God, Aiden said her lawyer's now a witness, so he's a witness. That's not, no, guys, that's not true. No, absolutely fucking not. Even if he had a confrontation with Tom CPU, it doesn't magically make him a witness and has nothing to do with Aiden at all, period. And make no mistake, there are cameras outside the fucking court, okay? Let's just put it that way. I love that he says such stupid things. One has to wonder, why he says such dumbass things like that, and his attorneys don't get uber pissed off. Because what you're doing in that is making it look like your attorneys gave you the go-ahead to say that, right? Because one would think that you would check with your attorneys before saying something so fucking stupid. If your attorneys gave you the go-ahead to say something that's not only not true, but fucking completely stupid like that, then those attorneys have to know that anybody working in the legal field with any legal knowledge whatsoever is going to laugh at you like the clown that you are. Either that, or they're going to assume that your client is so stupid he didn't bother to check in with his attorneys before he made such a ridiculous statement, which in my opinion happens quite often. He doesn't listen to his attorneys. He doesn't check with them before he says shit. He just believes in his mind that it must be true because one of his idiot minions is like, well, one time at band camp, my neighbor's dog's sister's, Jack Russell Terriers, dogs, birds, flea, worked at a law firm. And so this is true. He has no witness, Aiden. And then he just spews it out as if it's fact because, they said so. Instead of, I don't know, checking and making sure that what he's saying isn't ridiculous and nonsensical. Her attorney's not a witness to anything other than a confrontation that he had with fucking Tom, which has nothing to do with Aiden at all. It's just so bonkers to me, that's the other thing. I don't know at this point. If you are believing words that are coming out of his mouth, then I cannot help you. I really can't. And honestly, most of these people come to me afterwards, not during, but afterwards, and they go, shit, Elise, I'm sorry. I probably should have listened to you and I wouldn't be in this position and you were right. Well, no duh. So have many people before me who said this about him, right? I'm not the only one. I'm one of few, but I'm not the only one, telling people about who he is, his patterns, and what he has done. Let's make something abundantly clear. Meredith didn't share anything with Lana. Let's just make that clear, okay? It was publicly available even just for a minute. That's how she got it. That's another thing, Suzanne. I 100% believe a lot of this is, it's just content for them. They could give a shit less who it hurts, who it doesn't hurt, what lies being spread could hurt somebody's real life. It's content, it's money. And it's like, there should be a line between what's content and what's truth, right? This is why I was very clear about not playing this hearing or any of the hearings that have anything to do with this restraining order until someone tried to put a false narrative out. Because I don't believe that it should just be thrown out there like that. But if people are going to, put it out there as he did and try to push a false narrative, well, I'm going to push back on that false narrative because it's just simply not true, right? It is like, it's like Jim Jones. If you take Jim Jones, right, and David Koresh and wrap them into one fucking person, that's, in my opinion, what you're dealing with when it comes to it. That grandiosity of, you know, and he has, to be fair, he has actually compared himself to God. And actually at one point said God told him. I mean, that's how fucking Delulu the guy is. He lives in straight Delulu land. Like, there's nothing to save that motherfucker from anything. Like, he can't get out of his own way. I don't think he ever will. He doesn't learn. That's the difference, is he doesn't learn. Most people learn from their, you know, bad behaviors, and they go, okay, I did this thing and it didn't turn out well, so I'm probably not going to do that thing again, right? He doesn't. If he gets away with it 1 out of 5 times, he's like, well, it worked for me once, so I'm going to do it again. And he basically admitted that the other day when he said, oh, he filed his own RO as a tactic because it's worked for him before. Now, if a court can't see that a grown man keeps filing ROs on women, right, and then claiming that he's not afraid, we have the entire clip where he says he's not afraid of that white bitch from Milton. Meredith has that, right? So we know he's not fucking afraid of Meredith. He never has been and he never will be. He's a fucking liar. He's doing it. And again, coercive control actually lists out on the RO, it lists out different ways that you would use coercive control, and the definition of it in our laws here in Massachusetts actually list out things like using the court system to harass someone. That's part of coercive control. So if you're using the court system in a way to force someone to go into court for things they didn't do, or to punish them for holding you accountable, that is part of coercive control. That's part of something that she can prove he's doing, right? Is using the fucking courts to try to get her charged with and blah, 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 which again, he tried with Lindsay too. He tried to have her charged with wiretapping for cameras in her own house that he waved at. Now, when he went to the police in that instance, what he did was he took one of his 3 phones and he put on it what he wanted to show them. And then he left the other ones, right? So when he went into the police station, he went in with the 1 phone of the things he wanted them to see. What didn't he show them? I'll tell you what he didn't show them. He went in and showed them the message that Lindsay had sent, like, hey, my cameras might have caught us the other night. I forgot that my cameras were on in the house, so they might have caught us the other night. What didn't he show them? Well, he didn't show them the message right after that he responded with, which was, oh, I saw them. I waved at them and winked at them. You can record me anytime you want. He did not show the police that message. He tried to get her charged with wiretapping simply as a revenge tactic to hurt her. And so she's called down to the police station, right, to clear this issue up. She's read her fucking rights. She's put in her room to talk to them. And now she's got to show them her phone, right? She's got to show them the entire thread, not just the cherry-picked portions that he chose to show to the cops. Now, when she shows them the entire thread, they're like, he didn't show us this part. Well, no shit, he didn't. Because in that part, he admits to knowing that the cameras were there, winking at them, waving at it at one point, and then saying you can record me anytime you want, which is why there was no wiretapping charges. There's a multitude of reasons why no wiretapping charges were ever filed against Lindsay, one of which being you have the right to have cameras in your own fucking house for privacy and for security. That's in the law. It's not illegal wiretapping. You have every right, number 1. Number 2, he agreed and said he was aware of them after he told the cops he wasn't aware of them and it was hidden, right? He also told his audience that it was like hidden and he wasn't aware it was there. And well, his text messages say otherwise, as a matter of fact. So he didn't show that part to the police because he knew showing that part wouldn't get him the charges he wanted against her. So he took that part out. But when she went down there, she had to show them the whole thing. And they were like, what the fuck? At that point, in my opinion, they should have charged him with filing a false report. And maybe that would have deterred him from doing it again and again and again and again to other people. in my opinion, they should have quite a few times charged him with filing a false report, knowingly filing a false report, especially because they could have proved it, right? The problem that I have in Norfolk County is that they were, and I'm going to say pussies at this point, is they didn't want to deal with him anymore and his harassment, so they chose not to charge him with a multitude of crimes, including blackmail, filing false reports, and a multitude of other fucking things, because they just didn't want to deal with them anymore. And unless he committed a violent crime, they weren't going to charge him with anything else. I don't know any other county in the state that would have been like, yeah, he could just keep committing crimes as long as they're not violent. We just don't want to deal with them anymore. So like, fuck it, basically. No, that's not the way it works. If I or you or anyone else did it, guess what would happen, guys? They'd charge you, right? This is a pattern with him, is not showing the cops everything, using cherry-picked pieces of things to say, oh, well, you know, who fucking cares? Who cares? Here's what they did. This person's horrible. They're bad. I need you to file these charges against them. When the cops say no to Aiden, he goes back to the station. And when they say no again, he goes back again. And when they say no again, he goes back again. And this is what he had done to Holden PD quite a few times. So he learned, like a child, that if he keeps going back and harassing them enough, that eventually they'll say, we don't want to deal with this guy anymore. File the fucking charges and do what he wants, and he'll go away. And they've done that for him in the past. I heard this time they didn't. They did not. And so his whiny ass went down to the court and was like, well, I need to file these charges on my own behalf because the police won't do it, and I need a clerk's hearing. And so then he had to go and try to file these charges on Meredith on his own because the police station wouldn't do it. I still don't understand why Holden PD at this point hasn't charged him with filing false reports, because this is not a man that is fucking afraid of women. All right. He's not afraid of women. Nobody else is committing crimes against him. He's using the courts and criminal actions as a revenge tactic, no matter what piece of evidence that he has to manufacture, like he did in the Ryan Waters case, because Ryan had a civil suit against him. So to get out of that civil suit, what did he do? Well, he used a picture of his own kids, used it as a picture in the bathtub, and tried to manufacture that it was Ryan that sent this as a threat to him, when in fact it was Aiden who made a fake account with Ryan's name, sent it to himself, and then had one of his mods pretend that she came across it and found it. Unethical people who are helping him. So make no mistake when I say the people surrounding him are helping him. And if they get charged, it's their own fault.
Can you please not? I can't go back. Can you please not? I can't go back.
What a fucking clown. What an actual clown. You know? He sees everybody as a weak person. Sad part about it is he's the weak one. You ever seen a man run to the police as much as this man does? I haven't, that's for sure. Oh yeah, they love it because it's a money train, Suze, right? It's a money train. Any self-respecting attorney would have bowed out by now. Knowing how much he lies, knowing how much he doesn't tell them, they must have shit their ever-loving pants when they came across his phone extraction. When his extraction got given to them, I can only imagine the panic that those two fucking attorneys felt. I can only imagine the panic that they felt. Aiden, you didn't tell us you had threatened people or tried to blackmail them in here, sir. These are crimes. These are going to be a fucking problem. You said there was nothing to worry about. Nothing at all. And then they get the extraction. I would have shit myself if I was those damn attorneys. Yeah, that was not an anxiety attack. Not by a fucking long shot. Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. He probably made quite a pretty penny for doing nothing. Bettero, same. He made probably quite a pretty penny for going to New Jersey yesterday and saying, please dismiss this, Your Honor, and the court being like, no. No. I know, it'll never not be funny. I mean, can you imagine, like, really, a grown-ass man? A grown-ass man. Like, my fucking husband thinks that is the funniest clip on planet Earth. Oh, I can't blame him, but it's pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie, you know? Oh, yeah, I hate listen, I used to hate at the prison doing meetings, and they used to make us do them over the phone though. Even so, like these group meetings, oh god, they were so obnoxious. And really, it wasn't. Everybody would just like say like 2 words and it would be over. And I'm like, this is counterproductive. It's not doing anything. It doesn't change anything, and a waste of everyone's fucking time. You know. So I feel you, Space Ghost. I feel you, my friend. But agreed, Bradle and Bedrow, because Bedrow had to go. You know, he lives out in New Jersey area, but he still had to show up to that court date and be like, Your Honor, even if it was Zoom, Your Honor, my client would like this dismissed. No. Nope, we're not doing that. Reconvene in 2 weeks. Oh yeah, that's his famous thing to say is like, you're supporting him. If you support his defense fund, you're helping support a good cause. He also said that if you buy things off his wish list, that it's supporting a good cause, which I found extremely fucking hilarious. How is helping you buy anything for your home a good cause when you're harassing people to oblivion? Someone tell me, please, for the love of God. What is happening here? Hold on. Hold on. What is happening? Connect. Sorry, I wanted to fix that, so I disconnected the internet and reconnected it. I was like moving all over the space. But his thing is like, oh, if you buy things off my wish list, then it's helping a good cause. Like, sir, you made fun of everyone's wish list. So now you have one, and that's A-okay, though, right? Like, that just shows you how hypocritical he is, that if he wants something, right, then it's okay. But if anybody else does anything, it's not okay. You know? That's very true, Space Coast. That's very true. So at least you still get paid. So I guess that's still a win, right? Exactly why they delay it, because it's more money if they delay it. Also, they delay it to keep him out of jail. They know the more delays, the better. But I can tell you in his criminal cases, that judge is not going to allow delays like that. That judge from Plymouth County that he has on his cases, his criminal cases, that judge isn't going to play that game. Nope. No. You know? Absolutely fucking not. Like she's talking to a child. Agreed. Oh my God, that's probably amazing. Setting the kitchen timer for his tantrum. Tantrum in 3, 2. Yeah, I'm not impressed, and I would have fired him a long time ago, but I don't know. Apparently, Aiden thinks he's just great. That shows you the perception. You know what I mean? They must. I mean, they must, right? They must have to make fun of what a fool he is, but to be fair, they make themselves look like fools in the meantime, you know? Could any judge get him arrested for RO? Well, yes, if they find that he violated the RO, to be fair, if the cops think that he violated the restraining order, they could have already arrested him. A lot of times I've seen with him specifically, they will send out a summons instead. No one else gets that common courtesy of like, oh, hey, we think you violated this order, but we'll give you a court hearing to show up with your attorneys. Most of the time, your ass gets arrested. They put you in the back of a fucking cop car and they cuff and stuff you and they bring you to the court to talk to the fucking judge. And the judge decides right then and there whether you broke the restraining order. They don't, oh, let's send you a summons and wait for you to come in with your attorneys to decide. Like, have a whole hearing and then a whole fucking mini trial. I've never seen anything like it. 9 out of 10 times, if you violate a restraining order, you're getting cuffed and stuffed in the back of that fucking cruiser. So their lack of doing that gives me pause. You know? Girl, listen, man and girls and men. I've read the book. I have the book. I've gone over it in a couple live streams way back because I thought it would be good content to show like how he perceives what other people do as bad, but if he does the same thing, it's good. And his book is a good layout to that. It also shows you who he is, what he does, how he gaslights, and why. You know, he tells on himself. He doesn't know how to not tell himself. But yes, essentially, if they have a hearing ahead of time and the judge decides that he violated orders, and I don't think you're going to see that there's going to be a hearing that happens before that for the violations of the restraining order. I think it'll happen after that. So it is a violation, of course, but he's just going to claim it's free speech. Free speech isn't going to save him. Sorry, guys, I had to answer that. It was my sister. That's a good point. That's a good fucking point. Yeah, it's not a tantrum. An emotional showman. That's a good one. Yeah, this upcoming Monday is the RO with him and Meredith that was just moved from the other day. I know I was muted. I had to answer the phone. He does think he's untouchable, but unfortunately for him, that's just simply not true. It's only so much you can do before consequences come to get you, you know, and the consequences are coming like a fucking freight train. Don't do bad shit. You won't have to deal with those consequences. All right, everybody, I'm gonna wrap this up. I love your stinking faces. I'm starving like a hostage, and I need to eat something. Thank y'all for who are members or became members today, who gifted memberships. I appreciate you. All you who super chatted and super stickered and donated. If you're catching me on the restream, you can still do those things, and we just read it on the next one. I appreciate y'all. All the information on how to donate to the channel is in the description of the video. I may or may not try to pop on tomorrow just because I had to miss 2 days already this week for like health stuff. But if I hear anything, you guys will be the first to know, of course. I love your stinking faces, and I will see you all soon. Bye, everybody.